Chapter 1579. What a powerful sealing technique. This sealing formation is simply at the peak of perfection. Tian is only an initial stage immortal emperor, but if he's inside, he would definitely be able to fight against peak stage immortal emperors. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Yanfeng's destruction formation was extremely powerful, but Tian could actually block it. From this, one could very well imagine how powerful the sealing formation he created was. However, the power of the formation was secondary. What was more impressive was his terrifying talent and potential. Right now, he could already create a formation that could deal against peak stage immortal emperors when he was only at the initial stage. In that case, what if Tian's strength improved further in the future, stepping into the mid-stage or even the peak stage? If his formation grew stronger, what would the situation be like? Wouldn't he be invincible in the immortal emperor realm? If that's the case, his status in Lifefire City would instantly become transcendent. The people from the Yen clan all had unsightly expressions on their faces. They were an aristocrat clan that specialized in formations and naturally understood what Tian's attainments in the Tao of formations meant. The more this was so, the more they wanted to kill this brat. Hence, Yanfeng's attacks grew even more violent. Although the sealing gate was like a bottomless pit, it didn't mean that it was limitless. There must be a formation supporting it, and when the attacks reached a certain level, it would still be able to destroy it. Formations were extremely wondrous. If one didn't reach the limits of the formation, they wouldn't be able to break it. In fact, there would be no warning signs at all. Yanfeng didn't want to give Tian any chance at all. Tian only focused on defense. He waved his hands unceasingly as countless sealing gates and diagrams flew out. In fact, a terrifying pair of eyes appeared on the platform. These eyes were like the bottomless abyss of sealing. The light they shot out could directly seal away the attacks of Tian's opponents. The scene between the two platforms was extremely majestic. This was especially so for the one Tian was on. His attacks and defense interweaved together as different colors of light flowed wildly. The destructive might radiating from them caused everyone to feel a chill in their hearts. If this formation's energy leaked out, it would be able to easily destroy mid-stage immortal emperors and threaten peak-stage immortal emperors. For this battle of formations, I admit defeat. Tian suddenly spoke calmly, like he didn't mind admitting defeat at all. Many drew in a deep breath. Did Tian admit defeat? However, they weren't surprised. Tian was able to endure Yanfeng's attacks, and didn't show any signs of dispiritedness at all. This was already extremely outstanding. As for losing, today Tian challenged the Yen clan. The victor and loser was already clear. Not only did the Yen clan lose, one could even say that they lost miserably. The battle isn't over yet. What do you mean by admitting defeat? Yanfeng coldly spoke. With a flick of his finger, the array formation around him exploded. His body floated in the air above the array platform as a monstrous amount of destructive energy gushed forth from him. The eyes of many flashed. Mo Fei from the Mo clan coldly laughed as he stood up. Since Tian has already admitted defeat, the victor is already decided. Yet, the Yen clan is still unwilling to let this matter rest? How disgraceful. What does the matters of my Yen family have to do with you? An old man glanced at Mo Fei. The Yen clan and Mo clan were both aristocratic clans that specialized in formations. Naturally, there would be competition between them. In addition, the Mo clan wasn't like the other major powers in Lifefire City. They themselves were proficient in formations and wouldn't need the Yen clan's help in the future. Hence, they dared to speak up. Although the other major powers felt that the Yen clan couldn't afford to lose, they didn't dare to offend them. If not, it wouldn't be good if they needed help from the Yen clan in the future. Grandmaster Yanfeng's attainments in formations are truly extraordinary. It's just that it wouldn't be easy for him to defeat Grandmaster Tian. Since there's no way to determine the victor and Grandmaster Tian has admitted defeat, why don't we just stop here? Another voice rang out. The people of the Yen clan turned their gazes over, and saw that it was someone from the governor's manor. The vice-general of Governor Xiahou. Even someone from the governor's manor has spoken. The hearts of the people of the Yen clan sank. Seems like the governor's manor wanted to recruit this unaffiliated formation grandmaster. Indeed, such an outstanding formation grandmaster, who hadn't joined any major powers, would surely be someone everyone would fight for. Yanfeng, that's enough. The leader of the Yan clan spoke. Yanfeng's expression froze. The destructive energy radiating from him gradually dissipated as the formation on the platform calmed down. His eyes were still coldly staring at Ditian. His killing intent was as intense as ever. Ditian didn't seem to mind at all. He clasped his hands to the experts of the Yan clan and spoke. Today, I came here to seek guidance from you. I apologize for offending you. The Yan clan is as expected of an aristocrat clan that specializes in formations. Your attainments in the field of formations are extraordinary. I am filled with admiration. If any unpleasantness occurred during this period of seeking guidance, I hope that the Yan clan won't take offense. I believe that as an aristocrat clan, the Yan clan would naturally have such magnanimity. Everyone stared at Ditian with bewilderment. This fellow suddenly became polite? Before this, Ditian was extremely arrogant. His tone was filled with arrogance, causing even the people of the Yan clan to feel bewildered. But when they thought about it, they instantly understood. Seems like their guess was right. Ditian has already achieved his goal, and there was no need for him to continue making enemies with the Yan clan. Hence, if he could resolve the grudge between them, he would do his best to do so. This person's actions were just like others, mysterious and unfathomable. Humph. Yanfeng coldly snorted, feeling somewhat unhappy. Ditian wanted to resolve the grudge between them, killing two grandmasters of their Yan clan, trampling on their Yan clan to rise to fame. Did Ditian think that this matter would be resolved just like that? Wasn't this Ditian thinking too simply? The people of the Yan clan all coldly stared at Ditian. Upon seeing this scene, Ditian didn't feel strange at all. However, he didn't mind it too much. Today, although he wanted to borrow the Yan clan to rise to fame, wasn't it the Yan clan who was the one who disrespected him first? Since you don't respect me, why should I respect you? Since you want to inscribe a killing formation, I will return the favor. It was the same now. He was willing to let bygones be bygones and both sides wouldn't interfere in each other's affairs. However, if the Yan clan wasn't willing to let this matter rest and still wanted to kill him in the future, he would definitely return the favor. Farewell. Ditian clasped his hands and smiled. After that, he destroyed the formation he inscribed and turned to depart. Grandmaster D, Imo Fei, am filled with admiration towards Grandmaster D's attainments in the Tao of formations. The Mo clan is also an aristocrat clan that specializes in formations. Would Grandmaster D be willing to head to my Mo clan for a spar and exchange pointers? Also, my Mo clan has many ancient formations manuals. Mo Fei smiled. The expressions of the people of the Yan clan grew even more unsightly. Ditian hadn't even stepped out of the Mo clan yet, and he was already trying to rope in an enemy of the Yan clan? Everyone could naturally tell that Mo Fei's request for a spar was different from Ditian's visit to the Yan clan. If Ditian was willing to head over, it would definitely be a friendly spar to rope in Ditian. Sure, if I'm free in the future, I will definitely pay a visit to the Mo clan. At that time, I hope that the Mo clan won't obstruct me. Ditian smiled. Brother D, I'm from the Han clan of Lifefire City. Brother D, if you are free, feel free to pay a visit to my Han clan. Another expert from a major power spoke. Sure, definitely. Ditian smiled and nodded. The other major powers couldn't be bothered with the Yan clan any longer, all of them wanting to rope in Ditian. Ditian agreed one after another, causing everyone to feel that Ditian wasn't as cold as before. After the group of people left, the experts of the Yan clan all had ashen expressions on their faces as they stared at each other speechlessly. In the future, how should we deal with him? Finally, someone asked. This time, he borrowed the power of our Yan clan to rise to fame, attracting the attention of the major powers. If we want to deal with him, the governor's manor would surely suspect us. Let's just wait and see for now. The old man from the Yan clan sighed. It wasn't such a simple matter to kill a formation's grandmaster. In addition, this formation grandmaster was about to rise to fame. Just like what everyone predicted, Di Tian rose to fame after a single battle. Breaking formations, martial formations and battle formations, he won 2 out of 3 battles, killing 2 mid-stage emperors from the Yan clan. In the 3rd battle, the Yan clan sent out a peak-stage emperor, Grandmaster Yan Feng, but they still failed to kill Di Tian. It was only after Di Tian took the initiative to admit defeat that the battle ended. An initial stage immortal emperor actually managed to achieve such a feat just by relying on formations. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying his talent and potential was. In an instant, the courtyard where Di Tian was staying in was filled with people from the various major powers of Lifefire City, sending their greetings and gifts, inviting Di Tian to join them. Naturally, there were also people who invited Di Tian to become a guest elder of their respective powers or clans. Di Tian still rented the courtyard he used to stay in. During these few days, he was extremely busy, causing his serving girl to be extremely fatigued. At this moment in the courtyard, the serving girl took out many interspatial rings and passed them to Di Tian. "Sir, there are so many gifts. You truly didn't reject any of them and accepted all of them. Gifts that are delivered to my doorstep. Why wouldn't I accept them?" Di Tian inclined his head. A faint smile could be seen in his eyes. It was very rare for the serving girl to see such a smile on Di Tian's face. She blinked her eyes as she stared at Di Tian in a daze. These people are only here to express their sincerity. They aren't some huge gifts. If they think they can bribe me with just these small things, that would be an insult to their intelligence. After all, it's just to form some good karma between us. If we accept them, it can be considered that both parties are acquainted with each other. In the future, when they need help, they would surely look for me. This is also what I want, Di Tian explained. Seems like Sir has already thought it through. You are prepared to earn a huge amount of cultivation resources. The serving girl sat down opposite to Di Tian. She propped up her chin with both hands and stared at Di Tian. She then spoke in a weak voice. "Sir, can you take off your mask and let me take a look?" Di Tian glared at the serving girl. "It's too ugly, it would scare you." The serving girl shook her head. "I don't believe it. Sir must be extremely handsome, and is afraid that your talent would scare others. That's why you wear a mask. You really know how to talk." Di Tian laughed. Governor Xiahou pays his respects to Grandmaster Di. At this moment, a voice drifted over from outside the courtyard. Di Tian's eyes flashed as he turned his gaze over and smiled. "Welcome the guest." Governor Xiahou actually came. The serving girl started and hurriedly went out to welcome the guest. Very swiftly, Governor Xiahou brought the vice-governor of the Yan clan over. "Lord Governor, your presence brings light to our humble dwelling." Di Tian clasped his hands. His original body had met Xiahou before, and was even humiliated by Xiahou. He naturally recognized Xiahou. This Governor Xiahou was extremely arrogant in the Lifefire Palace. Now he actually came here personally. This caused Di Tian to feel somewhat surprised. "You're too polite. I've already heard of Grandmaster Di's deeds. You are extremely outstanding." Xiahou is truly impressed. Governor Xiahou smiled. "Since I came here today, I won't beat around the bush. The governor's manor lacks talents like you. Di Tian, if you are willing to join the governor's manor, I will directly appoint you as a vice-governor. At that time, you might even have the chance to come into contact with the Lifefire Empyrean. In the future, one of the 5 governors would definitely belong to you." Chapter 1580. Xiahou's words were very direct, and he wasn't exaggerating. Given Di Tian's attainments in formations, if he broke through to the mid-stage of the Immortal Emperor realm in the future, he would definitely have the qualifications to become one of the 5 governors of Lifefire City. Naturally, the prerequisite was that the Lifefire Empyrean had to trust him and give him a position. But what benefits does this bring to Governor Xiahou? Di Tian asked. "I'm in need of a capable subordinate to assist me. After all, it's impossible for me to remain in this position forever. I naturally want to climb higher." Xiahou spoke. His words were as direct as ever. "I understand Governor Xiahou's meaning. It's just that Di Tian is used to being free and unrestrained. I don't like to be controlled. I can only thank Governor Xiahou for your kind intentions." Since the other party was so direct, Tian didn't want to beat around the bush and directly rejected. What a joke, wanting him to be Xiaoho's subordinate. His original self was already a governor in the northern city regions, and was on the same level as Xiaoho. Did a mere vice-governor want to dismiss him? Tian, although your attainments and formations are high, you have to understand that this place is Lifefire City, and Lifefire City is also a part of the lifelong realm. This vast and boundless region is governed by the Realm Lord. Only by entering this place would you truly have authority, and authority. You would have a chance to rise up to the heavens. Governor Xiaoho persuaded. I naturally have my own thoughts. Tian's expression didn't change at all as he calmly replied. Everyone has their own ambitions. Since this is the case, I won't persuade you any further. Governor Xiaoho spoke. Farewell. After speaking, he directly turned and left, no longer as polite as before. After all, his status was there for all to see. He personally came here to invite Tian to join his governor's manor, but was rejected. He naturally felt that he had lost a lot of face. Governor Xiaoho, take care. Tian spoke, coldly laughing in his heart as he watched Xiaoho leave. As expected, a person's personality wouldn't change so easily. Back in the Lifefire Palace, he could already sense Xiaoho's arrogance. That kind of domineering aura of someone with a high status couldn't be concealed. Naturally, he didn't want to hide it. Sir, are you really going to reject him so directly? The serving girl blinked. Governor Xiaoho personally came to invite Tian, wanting him to become a vice-governor. This was truly extremely tempting, but Tian didn't even consider it and directly rejected it. Vice-commander? Tian laughed. Maybe if he gives me his position, I might consider it. The maid froze when she heard this. After which Tian continued. Little Zhu, let's go out for a walk. Where are we going? The maid asked. The Mo family has already sent people to visit them twice. It's only right that we pay them a visit. Tian laughed. The serving girl smiled and nodded. Upon seeing Tian's current status, she was naturally very happy in her heart. In Lifefire City, initial stage immortal emperors weren't considered impressive characters. They could be seen everywhere and had no status. However, her young master, who was an initial stage immortal emperor, was already a major character. All the major aristocratic clans would personally send people to pay their respects to him. Lin Fan could still remember the arrogant tone of that person from the Yen clan back then, wanting young master to attend a gathering. Only the outstanding ones would be able to become a guest elder of the Yen clan. What a joke. But now young master was going to pay a visit to someone else, and it was to head straight to the Mo clan, which was on the same level as the Yen clan. The changes were truly quick. However, young master was still calm about it. The Mo clan naturally welcomed Tian's visit very much. An elder of the Mo clan, Mo Fei, personally came out to welcome him. When Tian stepped into the Mo clan, he immediately ordered people to prepare a grand banquet. At the banquet, many major characters of the Mo clan were present. The one sitting at the head of the banquet was none other than the current clan leader of the Mo clan, Mo Ting. Mo Ting appeared to be less than 40 years of age, and was glowing with health and vigor. When he was young, he must have been a handsome young man. Tian, Mo Fei has nothing but praise for you. I also want to see what sort of character you are exactly, able to cause the Yen clan to lose all face with just an initial stage immortal emperor. Mo Ting smiled as he raised his cup to Tian. Clan leader praises me too much. I was just lucky. That Yen Feng's attainments in the Tao of formations are extremely high. Tian raised his cup and laughed. What cultivation base does Yen Feng have? He's at the peak stage of the immortal emperor realm, and has been famous for many years. As for you, although you are wearing a mask, I can tell that you are very young. In the future, let alone Yen Feng, no one in the entire Yen clan would be able to compare to you. Naturally, it's the same for my Mo clan as well. Mo Ting laughed. This was already considered an extremely high evaluation, causing many people in the Mo clan to have looks of shock on their faces. Clan leader, please don't tease this junior. Right now, I still need to temper myself and improve myself. Tian was still as calm as ever. This caused Mo Ting to smile at him. He then spoke to a young woman beside him. Junyi, weren't you always interested in the Tao of formations? You always despise us old men for being too weak. Now Ditian is as young as you. I think his age should be below 500 years old. Why don't you seek guidance from him? Mo Junyi was Mo Ting's daughter. Her beauty and talent were both outstanding, and she managed to break through to the immortal emperor realm after cultivating for 500 years. Such a cultivation speed could be considered extremely outstanding even in the supreme ancient immortal realms. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, because of the abundance of cultivation resources, as well as the experience of the predecessors, their cultivation arts and innate techniques were all more powerful. Hence, those with good backgrounds would have a much faster cultivation speed compared to those in the Azure Mystic Immortal realms. But even so, those who managed to break through to the Immortal Emperor realm within 1,000 years could still be considered geniuses. Let me toast Grandmaster Ditian. Mo Junyi lifted her wine cup and walked to the side of Ditian. Miss, you can just call me by my name. Ditian drank his wine together with her as he smiled. Sure, you can just call me Junyi. Mo Junyi smiled. The Tao of formations is extremely difficult to cultivate. I'm very interested in formations, but I'm also infatuated with the martial path. Hence, I didn't spend too much time and effort on the Tao of formations. Ditian, you are actually so outstanding in both aspects. You are simply a monster. The great Taos are interlinked. There's no contradiction between the two. Ditian smiled. How do you explain this? Mo Junyi curiously asked. I've been cultivating divine inscriptions since I was young. The Tao of inscriptions is the foundation of the great Taos of the heavens and earth. From my point of view, all kinds of innate techniques, as well as sinister formations, can be derived from it. Ditian smiled. The principles of cultivation in the world sound simple, but how difficult is it to truly comprehend them? Since you are able to link both of them together, you are truly a genius. Let me toast you again. Mo Junyi raised her cup and smiled gently. Ditian naturally wouldn't reject. The serving girl behind him couldn't help but to twitch her lips when she saw this scene. Sai, the young master, is still too inexperienced. Mo Junyi was a famous beauty in the central city regions. Regardless of her looks, demeanor, or cultivation base, she was the cream of the crop. The clan leader of the Mo clan, Mo Ting, wanted her to act personally. How could the young master not be smitten by her? Ditian, now that you are already famous in Lifefire City, you must have received invitations from the various powers. I wonder what your plans are in the future? Elder Mo Fei, who was seated below Mo Ting, probed. Elder, do you want to hear the truth? Ditian laughed. Naturally. Mo Fei started before he nodded. In truth, before I joined the Yen clan, I've already planned to become famous as soon as possible. It's just that the Yen clan coincidentally offended me at this moment, or I wouldn't have come here to challenge them. As for my purpose of becoming famous, it's very simple. Cultivation resources. Everyone knows how difficult it is for unaffiliated cultivators to obtain cultivation resources, unless they are bandits. But as a formation grandmaster, if I want sufficient cultivation resources, the best method is undoubtedly to become famous and become a famous formation grandmaster in Lifefire City. Ditian slowly spoke. Mo Fei's eyes flashed as he continued. However, given your capabilities, no matter which power you want to join, I'm sure no one would reject you. Becoming a vassal of a major power, even if it's a world overlord's power, can it be compared to the resources a famous formation grandmaster has? Ditian laughed. In addition, I've always been used to being free. I'm not willing to be controlled by others. I still wanted to recruit you, but it seems like there's no hope now. Mo Fei honestly laughed. He naturally understood that Ditian could tell this as well. There was no need for him to hide anything. I appreciate Elder's kind intentions. Earlier, you asked me about my future plans. During these few days, I've gotten acquainted with many major powers, and there would definitely be many things I need to do in the future. I'll first accumulate enough cultivation resources and slowly improve myself. After that, I'm prepared to focus on weaponsmithing. Ditian spoke. Weaponsmithing. The eyes of many flashed with sharpness, including the Mo clan leader, Mo Ting. He stared at Ditian. You are also proficient in weaponsmithing? Everything is interlinked. A good weaponsmithing grandmaster first has to be a formation grandmaster. I believe everyone here understands this point better than me. Ditian laughed. A weaponsmithing grandmaster could convert their strength into cultivation resources. The demand for divine weapons was endless. This was especially so if you can forge powerful divine weapons, you wouldn't need to worry about not being able to sell them. Ditian, if you need any help in the future, feel free to look for my Mo clan. The Mo clan leader, Mo Ting, laughed. A genius like Wuxia, a grandmaster in both formations and weaponsmithing. Even if Ditian didn't join their Mo clan, he was still someone worth befriending. Although he might not be of much use to the Mo clan now, that might not be the case in the future. Many thanks, clan leader. Ditian smiled and nodded. Ditian, my Mo clan still has many good items. Why don't you rest here for a few days and read through the records of our Mo clan? Mo Ting spoke. Although Ditian came to the Mo clan for the sake of building a good relationship, the Mo clan's generous treatment caused him to hesitate. I also want to seek guidance from you. Why don't you stay here? Mo Junyi gently smiled. Ditian fell silent for a moment before he nodded, sure. The little serving girl behind him twitched her mouth again, revealing a look of disdain as she stared at Ditian's back. Just like that, Ditian stayed in the Mo clan for a few days. During these few days, the Mo clan treated him with great hospitality, and even allowed him to read through some records regarding the Tao of formations. Mo Junyi also accompanied him frequently. Such treatment was truly enviable. After he left, in a courtyard in the Mo clan. Father, is there a need for me to treat an initial stage immortal emperor like this? Mo Junyi spoke to Mo Ting. A look of grievance could be seen on her dignified and beautiful face. After accompanying Ditian for so many days, that fellow actually didn't even remove his mask. I asked you to accompany him for a chat, not to seduce him. What's there to feel aggrieved about? Mo Ting rolled his eyes at his daughter as he smiled. Just as well, I'll let you interact with the geniuses of the outside world, lest you become arrogant. Let alone, this young man isn't simple at all. Even if he really becomes a weaponsmith in the future, how can he shake the position of our Mo clan? Mo Junyi spoke. You don't understand. He became famous in the Tao of formations, and after that, he entered the path of weaponsmithing. However, his ambitions lie elsewhere. Mo Ting shook his head. He stared at Mo Junyi as he spoke. Junyi, you have to remember this. You can't judge a person by their appearance. He started from the Tao of formations, and used weaponsmithing as his foundation. In the end, his goal was to establish a power in Lifefire City. In less than 100 years, there would definitely be an extraordinary power in the central city regions of Lifefire City. Chapter 1581. After a formation grandmaster became famous, it was simply too easy for him to obtain cultivation resources. This was especially so for someone as famous as Ditian. During these days, he formed a good relationship with many major powers. He wasn't as tyrannical as he was back then when he went to the Yen clan. Instead, he was humble and courteous. Many major powers invited him to inscribe formations for them. As long as the price was good, Ditian wouldn't reject them. At the same time, he also made many friends. For example, the Mo clan. Mo Junyi would occasionally come to visit him, and invite him to the Mo clan. He would also frequently head to the transaction pavilions to trade for some treasures. Unknowingly, the cultivation resources on Ditian grew more and more numerous. He purchased a large piece of land in the central city regions of Lifefire City, and after some remodeling, it became his new residence. However, Ditian also encountered some trouble. For example, someone issued a challenge to him from afar, and the challenger was extremely famous. It was none other than the #1 genius of the younger generations from the Lu clan, Lu Feibai. Lu Feibai's talent was exceedingly high. He had cultivated for less than 1,000 years, and was already at the mid-stage of the immortal emperor realm. His combat prowess was also extremely strong, and he was born in an aristocratic clan. Although those who were younger than 1,000 years old could be considered young, in truth, many of those from the older generations who had cultivated for countless years were far from being his match. This Lu Feibai issued a challenge to Di Tian and sent it to his residence, the Emperor Pavilion. Emperor Pavilion was a name given by Di Tian's serving girl. She felt that this name was very tyrannical and coincidentally, it was also Di Tian's surname. Hence, Di Tian directly used it. Many people guessed that Di Tian was famous for his formations, but his combat prowess wasn't that strong. Even if he could borrow the power of a formation to fight, the power he could unleash would surely be limited. It was impossible for him to deal with the genius Lu Feibai. Could it be that the Yan clan invited Lu Feibai to act, wanting to use a challenge to kill Di Tian? Di Tian also suspected this. But only after Mo Jinyi found him did he know that Lu Feibai challenged him not because of the Yan clan, but because of Mo Jinyi. The Lu clan hoped to form a marriage alliance with the Mo clan. Lu Feibai and Mo Jinyi were undoubtedly extremely suitable in their eyes. Lu Feibai was also very satisfied with Mo Jinyi, but Mo Jinyi was very close to this Grandmaster Di Tian. After knowing the reason, Di Tian was speechless. He had seen many things like this throughout his journey. Femme fatale, he didn't want to bother with her. Mo Jinyi also felt helpless and felt a little apologetic. Hence, amidst the anticipation of everyone, Grandmaster Di actually directly admitted defeat. Many people who were waiting to watch the show were all taken aback, some of them were speechless. There were many voices scolding Di Tian for being useless, not having the guts to accept Lu Feibai's challenge. He was extremely cowardly and as expected, other than having extraordinary attainments in formations, his martial path was mediocre. Naturally, there were also people who supported Di Tian. After all, although Lu Feibai was famous, his fame couldn't be compared to Grandmaster Di. Saying that Di Tian was a coward? Have you guys forgotten how Di Tian killed his way into the Yan clan with just a serving girl? That single battle caused the Yan clan to lose all face. In addition, Grandmaster Di Tian is extraordinary in the Tao of formations. How could his combat prowess be weak? Don't forget that one could still borrow the power of a formation to fight. Back then in the Battle of Martial Formations, Grandmaster Di had killed Grandmaster Yan Mu. He admitted defeat because he felt it was beneath him to accept Lu Feibai's challenge. In any case, there were all sorts of voices, but Di Tian completely ignored them. He was still busy with his own matters. Lu Feibai didn't give up just like that. He actually issued another challenge. Di Tian rejected again, directly admitting defeat, causing another commotion. There were even more people insulting Di Tian, saying that he only knew about formations. Just when the commotion in the outside world was getting louder, a piece of news suddenly circulated out from the Emperor Pavilion, shocking the central regions of Lifefire City. Grandmaster Di has forged an Emperor-ranked weapon, and would be auctioned off 3 days later. If one wishes to participate, they can directly come to the Emperor Pavilion. For a period of time, the central regions of Lifefire City were in an uproar. Not long ago, because of Lu Feibai's challenge, there were many people scolding Di Tian for being cowardly and useless, saying that he was only proficient in formations and was weak in the martial Tao. But now, the Emperor Pavilion actually released news that Grandmaster Di Tian had forged an Emperor-ranked weapon and was going to be auctioned off. Grandmaster Di Tian actually knew how to forge weapons. Not only was his attainment in formations extremely high, he was also able to forge divine weapons. For a period of time, Di Tian's fame soared even higher than before. However, there were still many people who were waiting to see what level of divine weapon Di Tian could forge. 3 days later, the Emperor Pavilion was incomparably lively. Many experts came to the Emperor Pavilion, including many aristocratic clans. Although the buildings in Lifefire City were very expensive, the area was very vast. This was especially so for those expensive buildings. For example, this Emperor Pavilion was something that Di Tian had to pay a huge price to purchase. Outside a great hall in the Emperor Pavilion, there was a flight of stairs. Below the flight of stairs, there was a vast space where the crowd gathered. There was no banquet or reception because other than Di Tian, there was only a single serving girl of the Immortal King in the Emperor Pavilion. There was basically no way for them to entertain so many people. This point was understandable. After all, their purpose here wasn't to attend any banquet. They were here to see the divine weapon Tion forged. Mo Fei, your Mo clan has such a good relationship with Grandmaster D. Could it be that you don't know any insider news? What divine weapon did this Grandmaster D forge exactly? Among the crowd, the people from the Mo clan arrived. Mo Fei and Mo Junyi were both present. I truly have no idea. That fellow Tion has always been mysterious. I'm the same as everyone else. I only received the news 3 days ago. Mo Fei laughed. Although he already knew that Tion knew how to forge weapons during the banquet back then, he still wanted to see what kind of divine weapon Tion would forge when the day came. Grandmaster D's attainments and formations are extremely high. Now that he is forging a divine weapon and gathered all the experts here, it would definitely be an extraordinary one. I'm filled with anticipation. Someone laughed. I once invited Grandmaster D to help me inscribe a formation. That formation is truly exquisite. A bunch of bootlickers. A mocking voice rang out. The gazes of everyone turned over and stared at the crowd. After that, they saw several figures gathered together. They were actually people from the Yan clan, and the person in the lead was none other than Yan Feng. I heard that your Mo clan even got Mo Junyi to use a honey trap on you. How could you not know about this divine weapon? Are you pretending to be mysterious? Yan Feng coldly mocked. Mo Fei frowned. Yan Feng, don't speak nonsense. Nonsense. Even Lu Feibai couldn't help but to challenge Tion. Why? Your Mo clan dares to do it but you don't dare to admit it? Yan Feng's aura was extremely sharp, as a fiery heat gushed forth. Seems like back then when Tion challenged you, you didn't feel ashamed at all. Now you actually have the face to take the initiative to challenge me? How ridiculous. Mo Fei mocked. Mo Junyi, who was at the side, also stared coldly at Yan Feng. This person's words were filled with thorns. Back then, if it wasn't for Tion avoiding the battle, he would already be a dead man. What's there to be ashamed of? As for me coming here today, it's precisely because I want to see how he would embarrass himself, and what divine weapon he can forge. Yan Feng coldly spoke. Grandmaster Xianming, what do you think? Grandmaster Xianming. Everyone's eyes gleamed with sharpness when they heard this. They all turned their gazes over, staring at the mysterious figure beside Yan Feng. This person was actually the famous weaponsmith Grandmaster Xianming, whose name shook Lifire City many years ago? Did the Yan clan invite him here intentionally to humiliate Tion? Only to see that mysterious figure lowering his head slightly, removing the hood of his cloak. After that, he inclined his head, revealing a somewhat aged face. However, his eyes were extremely deep and filled with spirit. Grandmaster Xianming. Mo Fei's eyes flashed. The Yan clan really invited Grandmaster Xianming over. Seems like they came with ill intentions. A junior actually created a divine weapon and caused such a commotion? Is the weaponsmithing world of Lifire City so weak now? Grandmaster Xianming calmly spoke. For a period of time, the gazes of everyone turned to him, feeling some shock in their hearts. Grandmaster Xianming hasn't appeared for a very long time. Some people said that he was summoned by the Lifire Empyrean to forge weapons for the Lifire Palace, while others said that he went to focus on breaking through to the next cultivation level. But back then he was extremely famous in the weaponsmithing world of this region. Every time he made a move, he would forge a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon. It was unknown how many people would ask him for help, and he was much more popular compared to a formation grandmaster. Grandmaster Xianming might not know this, but this young man is very famous in Lifire City, especially in the Tao of formations. A group of people walked over. One of them casually laughed. So what of it? Although formations are the foundation of weaponsmithing, who says that just because one is proficient in formations, they would be able to forge high-grade divine weapons? To think that he even dared to publicly auction it and gather so many experts here. He truly knows how to play to the gallery. Grandmaster Xianming coldly mocked. For a period of time, many people felt awkward. They also noticed that the person who spoke earlier was actually someone from the Lu clan. The young immortal emperor, Lu Feibai, stood beside the person who spoke and nodded his head lightly at Mo Jinyi. Grandmaster Xianming might not know this. This man is not only trying to play to the gallery, he is also cowardly and cowardly. My clan's Lu Feibai has sent many letters of challenge to the Emperor Pavilion. Yet he chose to avoid it, and even took the initiative to concede. Where does he have the pride of a grandmaster? That elder from the Lu clan shook his head. Mo Fei, you better tell Junyi not to get too close to such a person. He is too hypocritical and not pragmatic. I know what I'm doing. Mo Fei calmly replied, feeling somewhat depressed. It's fine if the Yen clan came to cause trouble, but your Lu clan has no grudge with Di Tian, and only wanted to form a marriage alliance. Why must you vent your anger on Di Tian? After all, although they were close to Di Tian, they didn't really want Mo Jinyi to marry him. You people are truly ridiculous. My clan's young master wants to publicly auction a divine weapon, yet he didn't invite anyone here. Everyone came here to support my young master, but since you all feel disdain, just don't come. Why are you insulting him with words? Did anyone tell you to come? How ridiculous. The serving girl from the Heavenly God Pavilion couldn't help but to speak. Chapter 1582. Audacious. Yanfeng's eyes were extremely cold. Terrifying streams of fire shot out from his eyes, causing the serving girl to scream in shock as she closed her eyes. Yanfeng, don't you think you're lacking in grace by bullying a serving girl? Mo Fei coldly spoke. Yanfeng coldly snorted. Didn't you hear how she spoke to an elder? Grandmaster Xianming is also here. Who does this little lass think she is? She actually dares to shoot her mouth off. If it wasn't for the fact that killing is prohibited in the city, she would already be a dead man now. If killing is permitted in the city, you definitely wouldn't be able to walk out of this courtyard. A cold voice rang out. Yanfeng's eyes flashed. After that, he saw a figure walking out from the ancient hall. Who else could it be other than Di Tian? At this moment, Di Tian was still wearing his mask. His black hair was as black as ink, casually draped over his shoulders. His eyes were extremely cold as he stared at Yanfeng. Where did this old dog come from? Did I invite you in? Barking in my place? Boom. As the sound of Di Tian's voice faded, an extremely cold intent gushed forth from Yanfeng. His long robes fluttered even though there was no wind. His eyes were blazing with a fiery light, as though they were about to shoot out from his eyes. Di Tian insulted him by calling him an old dog? Barking in a place like this? What did you say? Yanfeng took a step forward, causing the ground to tremble. Are you deaf? Di Tian glanced at Yanfeng. There was no respect in his cold eyes. Back then when he left the Yen clan, he had already said that as long as the Yen clan was willing to give up, there would be no grudges between them. However, the Yen clan had no intentions of letting him off. Now they came to his Emperor Pavilion, and even threatened his serving girl. How preposterous. You came to my place and humiliated me? Did I invite you all here? Di Tian continued. His gaze then turned to Grandmaster Xianming. I don't care who you are or where did you come from. If you came here sincerely, you are a guest. If you want to cause trouble, scram immediately. Impudent. Grandmaster Xuanming's expression changed. But before he could speak, an expert from the Lu clan at the side angrily berated. Do you know who you are talking to? You two. If you don't want to come, scram. Di Tian directly flicked his sleeves, exuding a domineering aura. The gazes of everyone froze as they stared at the scene before their eyes. This Grandmaster Di really had a personality. No matter who you are, be it Grandmaster Xianming or an expert from the Lu clan. Since you dared to create trouble here, just scram. However, the truth was as such. Although Grandmaster Xuanming's status was high, and the Lu clan was also a powerful aristocrat clan, this place was still Grandmaster Di's residence after all. You guys came to someone else's residence and spouted nonsense. Even a clay doll would have anger, let alone Grandmaster Di, who dared to kill his way into the Yen clan to issue a challenge. Di Tian was originally an extremely arrogant person. How would he allow others to act so impudently in his residence? A junior dares to be so disrespectful to a senior. This is simply unheard of. Today my horizons have been broadened. Grandmaster Xianming stared at Di Tian as he slowly spoke. I've traversed many places in the weaponsmithing world, and have seen many arrogant people. However, I've never seen someone like you before. You merely created a divine weapon, yet you're trying to gain the limelight, causing a huge commotion, and you even dared to publicly auction it off. What treasure do you think you can create? You are simply a disgrace to the weaponsmithing world. Flaunting your seniority. The serving girl beside Di Tian mumbled. Di Tian coldly laughed as he replied. Even if I created a useless weapon, I'm willing to auction it off. That's my own business. It's my honor that a friend is willing to come. Did I force anyone to come? Did I invite you here? As for being a senior, you are merely a little old, and yet you can be called a senior? Are you even worthy? Also, you keep talking about the weaponsmithing world. You represent the entire weaponsmithing world. Do you still want this old face of yours? Di Tian's words were sharp, directly piercing through the hearts of others. If others respected him, he would naturally respect them. As for those who came to his residence to create trouble, why would he need to show any respect? Since you want to humiliate me, why would I still need to be polite to you? Too impudent, too impudent. Grandmaster Xuanming's eyes flashed with killing intent after being humiliated by Di Tian. Yan Feng, who was at the side, felt the same as well. A terrifying aura radiated from him. He stared at Grandmaster Xianming. Grandmaster, I invited you here today, yet I was humiliated by a thief. This is my sin. Lord Governor. At this moment, Di Tian's gaze turned to the crowd. There were several figures there, and one of them was the vice-governor of the governor's manor. Di Tian had met him before. MHM. That vice-governor nodded. Someone invaded my residence. Do I have the authority to expel them? Di Tian asked. Naturally. That vice-governor nodded. If they don't obey and even resist, do I have the authority to kill them? Di Tian asked again. Invading a private residence and even daring to resist? Master can make the decision based on the situation. That vice-governor calmly nodded. It wasn't that he was biased towards Di Tian, but rather, this was the rule of the governor's manor. After all the buildings in Lifire City were purchased by others using a large amount of resources. The residences of others were considered private property and naturally, no one was allowed to barge in. The governor's manor needed protection. Everyone, the Emperor Pavilion doesn't welcome you guys. Please leave. Di Tian glanced at Yan Feng, Grandmaster Xianming, and the people from the Lu clan. He didn't hesitate to issue the expulsion order. No matter what your identity is, as long as you are here to create trouble, sorry, you can scram. Preposterous. Grandmaster Xuanming's anger burned. No matter where he went, there would always be people who didn't respect him. But today he was actually being chased away in front of everyone. This was simply preposterous. Grandmaster Xianming is a person of virtue and prestige. His attainments in weaponsmithing are profound. Grandmaster Di, can you please be a little more humble? A person reminded. Di Tian's eyes flashed, directly landing on that person as he coldly laughed. Since Grandmaster Xianming is a person of virtue and prestige, why don't you accompany him out? I won't send you off. That person's expression froze. Extremely unsightly to behold. Di Tian, although you are a formations grandmaster and you are even fooling around in weaponsmithing, it's best if you don't act too arrogantly. Doing this won't bring you any benefits. Could it be that you have already forgotten about the challenge a few days ago? I told you to scram. Di Tian coldly spoke. Everyone who came here today were originally guests. However, there are some people who think too highly of themselves. If there's anyone who can't stand the sight of me, please leave together with me. I'm sure the items I concoct wouldn't be able to enter your sights. Please leave. Di Tian. At this moment, a calm voice rang out. Di Tian glanced at the person who spoke. It was none other than Lu Feibai. It was none other than the person who challenged him twice. I've challenged the Emperor Pavilion twice before, but you rejected both times. Now, I'm challenging you for the third time. Do you accept? Lu Feibai's voice was calm as he challenged Di Tian once again. The eyes of everyone turned sharp as they landed on Di Tian. Tian directly replied. I'm not free. He rejected again. Seems like this Tian's strength is truly too weak. Everyone replied. Coward. An expert from the Lu clan coldly laughed. Let's go. Since he doesn't welcome us, let's head out. Let's hope that one day, Grandmaster D would be able to accept the challenge in an upright manner. Sir, I heard that this Lu Feibai's cultivation base is at the mid-stage of the Immortal Emperor realm. How can he be so arrogant when he challenges you? You don't want to bother with him. Yet the people from the Lu clan are still so full of themselves. Why don't you try challenging the immortal kings of their Lu clan? Let's see if there are any peak-stage immortal kings from their Lu clan who would accept the challenge. A serving girl at the side spoke in a light voice, her words causing the Lu clan's expert to pause. He turned his head and glanced over again, only to see Tian laughing mockingly. Not everyone can be so shameless. The expressions of the people from the Lu clan grew even more unsightly when they heard this. They coldly snorted and continued walking out. Grandmaster Xianming, let's go. Yanfeng icily spoke. Let's go outside and see what divine weapon he can take out. How embarrassing. Grandmaster Xianming coldly spoke. Since you want to see so much, I will grant you your wish. Alright, there's no need for all of you to scram. I'll allow you all to stay here and watch. Tian suddenly changed his mind, causing the people from the Lu clan to halt. Grandmaster Xianming and the people from the Yan clan who were preparing to leave were all stunned as they stared at Tian. Looks of bewilderment appeared on everyone's faces. It seemed that this Tian was very confident in the divine weapon he forged. I'll wait and see. Grandmaster Xianming icily spoke. In that case, take a good look at what kind of trash I forged exactly. Tian stared at him. After that, his finger moved as a bright light flashed. A sword appeared in his hand. This sword was actually black in color and wasn't sharp at all, as though it had never been sharpened. It was dull and lusterless, and there wasn't any powerful aura exuding from it. With a single glance, one could tell that this was a complete trash. Are you playing with me? Grandmaster Xianming coldly spoke. Why do you say that? Tian coldly laughed. This is also a divine weapon? Naturally. Tian affirmed. This old man has forged countless weapons and seen countless divine weapons. Forgive me for my poor eyesight, but I can only tell that this is a trash weapon. You caused such a huge commotion and wanted to auction it off. Is this trash weapon? Grandmaster Xianming pointed at Tian. If not, why would I say that you are old? When one is old, it's better not to embarrass yourself in front of others. Tian lightly stroked the sword as numerous runes lit up. It was as though something was broken as a crisp crackling sound rang out. The sword was still that unsharpened sword, but in the air, resplendent astral light cascaded downwards, landing on the sword. Evidently, this was an emperor-ranked weapon. Seal. You used a sealing technique to seal the power of the sword, just to show off? Grandmaster Xianming coldly spoke, not bothering to mention his earlier deduction. Tian mockingly glanced at him. On the surface of the sword, runes flowed unceasingly as the astral light in the air grew increasingly resplendent. A beam of light connected the heavens to the sword, illuminating all 8 directions. From the terrifying aura radiating from the sword, one could easily guess the grade of the sword. At this moment, the gazes of everyone who felt the sword might froze, including Grandmaster Xianming. His countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. Chapter 1583. An Emperor-ranked weapon. Not only was it an Emperor-ranked weapon, from the aura radiating from it, one could tell that it was a high-grade Emperor-ranked weapon. Tian, an initial-stage Immortal Emperor, was able to forge a high-grade Emperor-ranked weapon. The forging of weapons was different from inscribing formations. In order to forge a divine weapon, formations were the foundation. If one wanted to forge a divine weapon, they would need the support of formations. Hence, normally speaking, forging weapons was much more complicated compared to inscribing formations. High-grade Emperor-ranked weapons were able to amplify the attacks of peak-stage Immortal Emperors. If one had a high-grade Emperor-ranked weapon, the strength of a peak-stage Immortal Emperor would be greatly boosted. From this, One could very well imagine how valuable it was. Although there were many grand completion immortal emperors in Lifefire City, peak stage immortal emperors were considered characters at the upper echelons of the major powers. From this, one could very well imagine how high the status of a craftsman who could forge a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon was. Why was Grandmaster Xianming so highly respected? Even Yanfeng had to refer to him as Grandmaster, and there were even people speaking up for him in Ditian's clan? There was no other reason. It was because Grandmaster Xianming could forge high-grade emperor-ranked weapons. Even peak-stage immortal emperors would need his help. As for initial stage and mid-stage immortal emperors, any weapon Grandmaster Xianming casually forged would be treasures to them. Who wouldn't want to have a good relationship with such a Grandmaster? But at this moment, Ditian actually managed to forge a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon. For a period of time, everyone fell silent as their hearts pounded. They knew that from this moment onwards, Grandmaster Ditian's status was no longer the same as before. Grandmaster Xianming and Yanfeng's expressions were as ugly as they could be. The expressions of those from the Lu clan also twitched. Only Mo Fei from the Mo clan felt his heart pounding as a look of joy appeared on his face. A high-grade emperor-ranked weapon. Seems like it wasn't wrong to maintain a good relationship with Ditian. Mo Junyi, who was beside him, had a strange look in her eyes. Why was this fellow so powerful? Grandmaster, is this a trash? Ditian pointed the sword in his hand at Grandmaster Xianming as he coldly mocked. Xuanming's expression turned ashen. Not long ago, he was insulting Ditian, saying that Ditian's concoction was trash. How could an initial stage immortal emperor concoct something good? But in the blink of an eye, Ditian actually took out a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon. How face was this smacking? Disrespect my senior? Ditian didn't intend to spare Grandmaster Xianming. Since Grandmaster Xianming sent himself to his doorstep to slap his face, he might as well do what he did to the Yan clan previously. He would step on Grandmaster Xianming and prove his weaponsmithing capabilities. In that case, the repercussions he would cause would naturally be more intense. Your mouth is filled with humiliation, flaunting your seniority and thinking yourself infallible. Grandmaster, may I ask if you feel that you are qualified to be called a senior? Ditian asked. How arrogant. So what if you managed to forge this sovereign armament? It's merely the simplest high-grade sovereign armament. Grandmaster Xianming was able to forge high-grade sovereign armaments many years ago. What qualifications do you have to strut around in front of him? Ignorant. Yanfeng was already riding a tiger, and it was hard for him to dismount. He knew he had lost face this time around, but he still had to endure it to the end. He mustn't weaken his momentum and borrow Grandmaster Xuanming's fame to suppress Ditian. The simplest high-grade Monarch weapon? Ditian mockingly laughed. I'm going to use this weapon to attack. You are a peak-stage immortal emperor. Do you dare to test its might? Why not? Yanfeng coldly spoke. At this moment, how could he retreat? In addition, he was very confident in his own strength. Given Ditian's initial stage immortal emperor cultivation base, how could Ditian threaten him with a peak-stage emperor-ranked weapon? With a flash of his silhouette, Yanfeng directly soared into the air. Resplendent astral light cascaded down from the sky. Yanfeng, who was immersed in the astral light, was like a god of fire. His entire person seemed to be on fire, giving off an extremely powerful feeling. Ditian brandished his sword. His silhouette flashed as he soared into the air. Yanfeng stared at him, his eyes filled with flames as a faint killing intent flickered within. He actually wanted to take this chance to kill Ditian, to prevent any future troubles. After all, Ditian was the one who suggested to fight. If he killed Ditian, he didn't know what attitude the governor's manor would have. Kill. Ditian didn't give Yanfeng too much time to think. He stabbed out with his sword, and in an instant, an incomparably resplendent beam of emperor light gushed forth. In just an instant, the black sword that had yet to be sharpened suddenly erupted with a terrifying sealing light. In just an instant, boundless sealing light enveloped the area, enveloping Yanfeng. The astral light that cascaded down from the sky suddenly stopped. Yanfeng's entire person was enveloped by the sealing light. The astral light no longer cascaded down. and the law energy around him seemed to have been isolated as well. He actually had no way to control it as he wished. Yanfeng's expression turned extremely unsightly. He punched out with a terrifying fist of fire, manifesting a beam of destructive light, wanting to break through everything, frenziedly tearing apart the ceiling light. Go! Di Tian waved his hand. A moment later, his sword pierced through the air, directly colliding with that beam of destructive light. From the surface of the sword, an incomparably ferocious sealing light radiated forth, causing that beam of destructive light to be directly sealed away. The power of that beam of sealing light weakened unceasingly before vanishing. However, that sealing sword continued to borrow the astral light to unleash more sealing light towards Yanfeng, causing Yanfeng to feel as though his hands and feet were tied up. The hearts of everyone trembled when they saw this scene in the air. The black sword hummed. Although it had yet to be sharpened and seemed like a useless sword, at this moment, they all knew how terrifying this sword was. Come back. Di Tian spoke. The sword flew back into his hand as he returned to the platform. The sealing light in the air dissipated as Yanfeng stepped out. His expression was as unsightly as it could be. He, Yanfeng, was a peak-stage immortal emperor, yet he was actually trapped by a sword. Although it was only for a short moment, he was still trapped. In addition, even the law energy around him was sealed. Sir, this sword is truly very simple. It actually didn't manage to kill him. The little serving girl mumbled in a depressed manner, causing Yanfeng to almost cough out blood from anger. Was this sword simple? Earlier, Yanfeng said it himself. But what about now? His old face was completely lost. A simple sword actually managed to seal him. Right now, even that serving girl was mocking him. Everyone glanced at each other, feeling shocked in their hearts. If one had this sword, as long as the wielder of the sword was a little stronger, it would be sufficient to kill Yanfeng. This Di Tian was the same as back then when he entered the Yan clan. Shocking the world with a single brilliant feat, Di Tian glanced at the serving girl beside him as he laughed silently in his heart. Did she want to anger Yanfeng to death? Grandmaster Di's attainments in the Tao of formations are extremely high. I didn't expect that his attainments in the Tao of weaponsmithing would also reach such an extent. Compared to Grandmaster Di, I'm truly ashamed. Someone sighed. Just based on the appearance of this sealing sword, Grandmaster Di's fame is sufficient to sweep through Lifefire City. What's even more shocking is that Grandmaster Di is only at the initial stage of the Immortal Emperor realm. If his cultivation base grows stronger in the future, his attainments in the Tao of formations and weaponsmithing would surely be even more impressive. At that time, I simply don't dare to imagine what would happen. In the crowd, voices rang out one after another. These were all powers that maintained a friendly relationship with Di Tian. Before this, the Yan clan brought Grandmaster Xianming over, and the Lu clan made things difficult for him. It wasn't good for them to say anything. But right now, the talent Di Tian displayed was already something that the Yan clan and Grandmaster Xianming couldn't suppress. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that just based on this sealing sword, in addition to Di Tian's cultivation base and attainments in the Tao of formations, his status had already faintly surpassed Grandmaster Xianming. If they didn't express their stance now, when would they? Although Grandmaster Xianming was a person of virtue and prestige, it was very rare for him to appear in public. As for Di Tian, he was truly here and he maintained a friendly relationship with many major powers. Grandmaster formations and weaponsmithing grandmasters. At this moment, they naturally felt more inclined towards Di Tian. Many people spoke one after another. Grandmaster Xianming, and the others were completely ignored. The expressions of the people from the Lu clan were the ugliest. This was especially so for the person in the lead. He faintly felt some regret. They originally had no grudge with Di Tian. Now, it could be said that they had completely offended Di Tian. Such a powerful weaponsmithing grandmaster would definitely have even greater accomplishments in the future. In the future, it would be impossible for them to invite him to forge an emperor-ranked weapon. Let's go. Grandmaster Xianming flicked his sleeves and departed. There was no need for Di Tian to chase him away. He himself didn't have the face to stay behind. He felt some resentment towards the Yan clan in his heart. If it wasn't for the Yen clan inviting him here to humiliate Tian, he wouldn't have lost so much face. Yen Feng and the others also left. The killing intent in their hearts grew even stronger. The people from the Lu clan also silently left. Lu Feibai cast a deep glance at Tian before glancing at Mo Junyi. After that he departed. Grandmaster formations and weaponsmithing grandmasters. Even if the Mo clan didn't have such thoughts in the past, they would most probably have such thoughts now. Tian, you are simply a miracle. Mo Fei walked up and laughed. Elder Mo Fei praises me too much. I have to thank Elder Mo Fei for coming here. Tian became humble again as he smiled. Not at all. How can I not come when such a powerful emperor-ranked weapon is being auctioned? If the people of Lifefire City knew that you could forge such a powerful weapon, I'm afraid this place wouldn't be able to contain so many people. Ha! Mo Fei laughed. Grandmaster D, isn't the auction about to begin? We can't wait any longer. An expert from a major power laughed. Okay. Since this is the case, let's start the auction then. Everyone, if you like it, feel free to bid. Tian spoke. I bid 1,000 high-grade Emperor Stones. Someone spoke. You want to exchange for such a treasure with just 1,000 high-grade Emperor Stones? I bid 3,000. Someone laughed. Everyone drew in a deep breath as their hearts trembled. Even Tian couldn't help but feel his heart pounding. A good divine weapon was simply a treasure. The price of a high-grade Emperor-ranked weapon was already sky-high. Ordinary peak-stage immortal emperors might not even be able to afford it. My Mo clan has to obtain this weapon no matter what. Everyone, don't snatch it from me. At this moment, Mo Fei walked up the stairs and smiled. Tian, I just so happen to have a treasure in my hands. I'll add 3,000 high-grade Emperor Stones and exchange it with you. As he spoke, he took out a cauldron. Within the cauldron, there was actually an inextinguishable flame that exuded a fearsome might, as though it could melt everything. Tian's eyes flashed. He could tell with a single glance that this was a treasure, and it was a weapon-forging treasure. How about it? Is there anyone who can compete with me? Mo Fei laughed as he stared at everyone. Many people were silently shocked. This cauldron itself was a high-grade Emperor-ranked weapon. Not only did he use it to exchange, he even added 3,000 high-grade Emperor Stones. Such a price truly wasn't something the others could afford. No one competed. Tian laughed as he stared at Mo Fei. Could it be that this fellow came prepared? He actually prepared such a treasure. If he could forge a mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapon, would Mo Fei take out this cauldron? Tian felt somewhat curious. Chapter 1584. The sealing sword was obtained by Elder Mo Fei of the Mo clan. Everyone naturally congratulated him. Tian stared at the crowd and smiled. Today, the auction of this divine weapon is only one of my reasons for inviting all of you here. I still have another matter to announce. Oh. Everyone stared at Tian, feeling somewhat curious. Could it be that there were other surprises? Everyone should have already seen that the Emperor Pavilion isn't small, and can accommodate many people. Hence, I've decided to turn the Emperor Pavilion into a trading ground for treasures. If there are any friends who are willing to come here to trade, I won't charge any fees and will provide the location of the Emperor Pavilion to everyone for free. In addition, I will also be responsible for the tributes from the governor's manor. Tian smiled. Mo Junyi's eyes flashed. Was her father's words about to come true? Tian's ambitions truly weren't limited to inscribing formations and forging weapons. He basically didn't want to be satisfied with that. Right now, he actually wanted to open a trading pavilion. Seems like his ambitions weren't small at all. After today's matter circulated out, Tian's fame would surely spread throughout Lifefire City. He would become a character that no one dared to approach. An initial stage immortal emperor forging a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon. How could this not cause a commotion? The news of the trading pavilion would naturally spread out and many people would come here to trade with him. For the sake of managing the trading pavilion, I still need to recruit some experts to work for the Emperor Pavilion. Although I don't dare to say how good the treatment will be, it will be comparable to the governor's manor. As long as there are people who are willing to trust me, ID will definitely not mistreat them. As for the time limit, I will set a limit of 10 years. Every 10 years, we will renegotiate the treatment. If you are unhappy, you can leave. I won't interfere with your freedom. Ditian continued. The beautiful eyes of the serving girl at the side blinked. Was the young master finally planning to expand his influence? Lastly, on this day every month, I will take out an emperor-ranked weapon to auction. On this day every year, I will take out a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon to auction. I welcome everyone to come to my emperor pavilion often. Ditian laughed. A commotion broke out again as everyone felt their hearts trembling. Everyone had seen the divine weapons forged by Ditian before. They contained sealing energy within them, and were able to seal the laws of their opponents. They were extremely useful in combat. Given Ditian's fame, in the future when he auctioned off emperor-ranked weapons, there would definitely be many guests. Alright, that's all for now. I hope everyone can help me spread the news. In addition, I also welcome all of you to come to my Emperor Pavilion often. Ditian clasped his hands and smiled to everyone, extremely polite. Everyone also started to bid their farewells and departed. There were some major powers who stayed behind and chatted with Ditian for a while before they departed as well. Mo Fei smiled at Ditian. This move of yours is truly ruthless. Tell me, is the transaction pavilion just a passing phase? Are you planning to open an auction house in the future? Elder Mo Fei's eyes are truly sharp. It's just that there shouldn't be any conflicts between the auction house and the transaction pavilion, right? They are both used for transactions. In the future, as long as it's an exquisite treasure, we can just bring it out for auction. Your idea isn't bad, but you need time to consolidate it. Even if you will become extremely wealthy very soon, in order to maintain the operations of an auction house, you need an endless supply of treasures. You need people to trust you and be willing to sell their treasures to you. In that case, you need a sufficient flow of people. This place of yours is simply too small. Mo Fei spoke. Hence, before I open an auction house, I will only auction emperor-ranked weapons. I will first provide a trading ground for free. As long as the popularity of the Emperor Pavilion rises, the flow of people naturally wouldn't be a problem. I believe that as long as the operations are done well, this place will become a bustling trading ground sooner or later. At most, we can just buy the surrounding land from the governor's manor. Ditian laughed. Seems like you have already thought it through. In that case, I'll wait and see. Mo Fei stared at Ditian. Mo Jinyi's beautiful eyes flickered with a gentle smile. You are truly a monster. I really want to see what kind of face is hidden beneath your mask. Since I'm a monster, I'm naturally ugly. Ditian laughed. Mo Jinyi rolled her eyes. I don't believe you. Alright, I'll return first to report this to the clan leader. Mo Fei bid farewell and departed. Sir. After everyone left, the serving girl stared at Ditian, wanting to say something but hesitating. What's wrong? Ditian asked. Sir, in the future when the Emperor Pavilion expands, there would surely be many people by your side. Little Zhu. The serving girl weakly spoke. Ditian smiled and glanced at her. Little Zhu, in the future when the Emperor Pavilion expands, you will still be the head butler. Many thanks, sir. The serving girl laughed happily. I don't need a head butler. I just want all the females to be under my care. Ditian had a face filled with black lines. He glanced at the serving girl. Her words were filled with ambiguity. Little Zhu also seemed to realize that she had said something wrong. Her eyes flickered as she directly fled. The news of what happened in the Emperor Pavilion soon circulated around Lifire City with shocking speed. A formation grandmaster was sufficient to become famous. A formation grandmaster that could forge high-grade emperor-ranked weapons. His fame was sufficient to spread out of the central city regions to the entire Lifire City. After all, weaponsmiths were characters that everyone paid attention to. This was especially so when Ditian became famous because he trampled on Grandmaster Xuanming's shoulders. Grandmaster Xianming was a famous character. But this time around he wanted to humiliate Ditian but was smacked in the face instead. In addition to the Yen clan and Lu clan, this was sufficient to cause a huge commotion. No wonder Grandmaster D didn't accept Lu Feibai's challenge. Lu Feibai wasn't qualified at all. Although Lu Feibai's talent was outstanding, what sort of character was Grandmaster D? He was a Grandmaster that could forge high-grade Emperor-ranked weapons. How could his status be compared to Lu Feibai? Hence, the atmosphere of the Emperor Pavilion became incomparably lively overnight. Many experts answered the summons and many unaffiliated immortal kings were willing to work for the Emperor Pavilion. Given Grandmaster D's capabilities, he would surely be able to earn a vast amount of cultivation resources in the future. He most probably wouldn't mistreat them. Little Zhu also recruited a few female immortal kings to work for D Tian. These female immortal kings were all from some of the smaller clans and clans in Lifire City. Since they could serve Grandmaster D, their clans were naturally willing. What made D Tian feel funny was that Little Zhu's choice of people was very strange. She wanted beautiful women to serve D Tian, but they mustn't be too beautiful. At the very least, they mustn't be inferior to her. However, the number of people who came to the Emperor Pavilion to trade was still very little. After all, there were many large-scale trading grounds in Lifire City. Many people were used to doing business there. Although D Tian's fame was very great now, when trading, everyone would first consider the location with the most people. If they came to the Emperor Pavilion to trade, what use would it be if no one was interested in them? After all, the Emperor Pavilion had just started and wasn't mature yet. However, very swiftly, a shocking piece of news circulated out. The Mo clan actually joined forces with the Emperor Pavilion. An elder of the Mo clan, Mo Fei, became the Grand Supervisor of the Emperor Pavilion. The daughter of the Mo clan leader, Mo Ting, also joined the Emperor Pavilion and would be in charge of the auction of Grandmaster D's divine weapons. Also, they released news that they would be working for the Emperor Pavilion for 100 years. This meant that for the next 100 years, they would all be people of the Emperor Pavilion. Mo Fei was an elder with a high status in the Mo clan while Mo Junyi was a princess of the Mo clan. The two of them also brought many people from the Mo clan to the Emperor Pavilion, causing a commotion in the outside world. Two immortal emperors also joined the Emperor Pavilion and signed a 10-year contract. During these 10 years, they had to serve the Emperor Pavilion, and D Tian would reward them accordingly. In the backyard of the Emperor Pavilion, D Tian, Mo Fei and Mo Junyi were all present. D Tian took out an interspatial ring and passed it to Mo Junyi. These are the divine weapons I forged during these few days. It should be sufficient for a few years to be auctioned. Junyi, you can arrange the auction order yourself. I'll leave this to you. You trust me so much? Mo Junyi warmly smiled, winking at D Tian. In the future, the development of my Emperor Pavilion will depend on you. How can I not trust you? D Tian laughed. I don't have such capabilities. Mo Junyi pouted. Who says you don't? Just based on your beauty, just by standing there, you would be able to increase the price of my divine weapons. D Tian joked. Mo Fei and Little Zhu both laughed, while Mo Junyi glared at D Tian. Elder Mo Fei, D Tian called out. Pavilion Lord, you should address me as the Grand Supervisor now. At the very least, this is how it should be for the next 100 years. Mo Fei laughed. Okay, Grand Supervisor. From now on, the Emperor Pavilion will be handed to you. I'm preparing to cultivate for a period of time. You will be in charge of everything here. D Tian laughed. What? The Emperor Pavilion has just been established, and you want to be a shopkeeper who doesn't have to do anything? Mo Fei was dumbfounded. Who asked you to take the initiative to send yourself to my doorstep? I'm not as proficient in these matters as you, Grand Supervisor. Since you, Junyi, and Little Zhu are here, how would I have anything to do? Remember to help me gather some materials. I will be in charge of forging divine weapons. D Tian laughed. Before this, he initially wanted to wait until the Emperor Pavilion was on the right track before considering the matter of cultivation. It was just that he didn't expect Mo Fei and Mo Junyi to take the initiative to help him. He understood the Mo clan's intentions and knew how to act appropriately. As long as the Mo clan helped him to develop the Emperor Pavilion, he naturally wouldn't mistreat the Mo clan in the future. You are ruthless. Mo Fei speechlessly spoke. In that case, I will leave the Emperor Pavilion to you all. Di Tian laughed. After speaking, he actually turned and departed, causing Mo Fei and Mo Junyi to be completely speechless. A month after the first auction, the Emperor Pavilion officially auctioned off its second divine weapon. It was unknown how many experts came to the Emperor Pavilion. All of them came because of Grandmaster Di's fame, and wanted to personally witness the divine weapons forged by him. Hence, today many people set up a transaction point in the Emperor Pavilion. The auction was very smooth, and it was another sealing-type divine weapon. Although it was a mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapon, it still caused a huge commotion. There were also many transactions completed in the Emperor Pavilion, causing people to think that the Emperor Pavilion had already become a mature transaction point. However, after the day ended, many people directly left, not giving any face to the Emperor Pavilion at all. Hence, Grand Supervisor Mo Fei couldn't help but set a rule. Those who wanted to set up a transaction point in the Emperor Pavilion had to sign a contract with the Emperor Pavilion for a year. In this year, they had to set up a transaction point in the Emperor Pavilion for at least 100 days. If not, they can forget about taking advantage of the Emperor Pavilion on the day of the auction. Such a binding method was clearly very effective. Next, many people signed contracts with the Emperor Pavilion. Hence, the Emperor Pavilion's transaction point gradually became lively as more and more people came. Chapter 1585. You? Do you believe that the Live-Fire Empyrean will strip you of your position? Lin Ba laughed. Also, from what I know, this woman is the daughter of an aristocrat clan in Xiaoho's region. Being able to do this is already considered not bad. If it wasn't for the fact that they wanted to recruit this grandmaster, this aristocrat clan wouldn't have done this. Everyone, welcome to the Emperor Pavilion to participate in this auction. I know everyone is already impatient to see what kind of treasure Grandmaster Di Tian has forged. This little girl won't waste any more words. Grandmaster Di, please take out your divine weapon for everyone to see. Mo Junyi smiled. Beauty Zhao's eyes were like silk. Although she is very beautiful, she isn't suitable to host the auction. She lacks charisma. If it's me, it would be more suitable. Mo Fei's voice was ice cold. Mo Junyi's expression also turned unsightly as she coldly spoke. Is there really no one who can resolve this matter? Other than this, there was another place that attracted Di Tian's attention. Xiaoho sat in the central seat. Other than him, Lin Ba, Beauty Xiao, and Yin Qiu were all present. This meant that out of the 5 governors of Live-Fire City, 4 of them had come. From this, one could see how famous Di Tian was now. The entire Live-Fire City knew of him. Mo Fei's eyes flashed. After that, he coldly spoke. This Xiaoho is truly arrogant to the extreme. My Emperor Pavilion's businesses can't be considered big, yet he actually classified us as a first-tier power and collected so much tribute. What a bully! My judgment naturally wouldn't be wrong. This Di Tian is definitely young and handsome. His aura is so steady and he is already famous despite being at the initial stage of the immortal Emperor realm. If there's a chance, I must definitely invite him to my governor's manor to play. Beauty Zhao's smile was extremely charming. Yin Qiu coldly spoke. Beauty Xiao, you have never invited me before, right? Is he Grandmaster Di? What a demeanor, he must be extremely handsome. Beauty Zhao's eyes were like silk, exuding boundless charm. Today, she was still wearing a revealing dress, revealing her snow-white thighs, causing many to sneak glances in her direction. But because she was sitting together with Xiaoho, some people guessed that she might be Xiaoho's subordinate. Hence, no one dared to be impudent. Are you preparing to activate the auction? Mo Fei's eyes flashed with sharpness. Most importantly, he has an official status and doesn't need to rely on you. Even if he wants an emperor-ranked weapon, he can find other weaponsmiths. Grandmaster Di. Beauty Xiao, there is no need to not give me face. Yin Qiu was depressed. Back then, the first time Grandmaster Di Tian acted, he took out a high-grade emperor-ranked weapon and ruthlessly smacked the faces of Grandmaster Xianming and the Yan clan. After that, Grandmaster Di Tian rarely appeared again. Right now, Grandmaster Di Tian was acting in such a high-profile manner. The Emperor-ranked weapon he wanted to auction must surely be an extraordinary one. How could everyone not be concerned? Right now, Grandmaster D's fame was extremely great. This was also normal. It was impossible for him to be the same as before, able to invite everyone. Since Grandmaster D could forge high-grade Emperor-ranked weapons, how could he waste time to help you set up some minor formations? That was obviously impossible. In the central city regions, Governor Xia Ho is the hegemon. His authority is extremely great. If we don't pay tribute, he can make the Emperor Pavilion cease to exist. Unless the Emperor Pavilion moves to another city region. Mo Fei said. Then the popularity that we have worked so hard to accumulate today will probably be lost by a lot. Clearly, Xia Ho is aware of this. Since Governor Xia Ho is taking such good care of us, in that case, let's develop the Emperor Pavilion into a true first-tier power. Di Tian coldly spoke. Release the news that I will appear in the next auction. I recently forged a special divine weapon. Use my name to announce it. This news swiftly circulated around Lifire City. Not only for the central city regions, even experts from the other 4 city regions also rushed here, preparing to participate in this auction. They wanted to see what treasures the most famous weaponsmithing grandmaster in recent years would have. The governor of a region, what boldness! A voice rang out. Di Tian walked over as his eyes gleamed with coldness. Little miss, you have never participated in the matters here before. Hence you wouldn't be clear. The tributes are usually divided into 9 grades. Those peak powers are first-grade powers, and they have to pay the highest amount of tributes. The second-grade powers are the second grade, and so on and so forth. Right now, our Emperor Pavilion can barely be considered a third-grade power. However, the governor's manner said that since the Emperor Pavilion has a peak-stage immortal emperor like me and the Pavilion Lord is able to forge high-grade emperor-ranked weapons, we should be classified as a first-grade power, and be on the same level as those supreme auction houses, paying the highest amount of tributes. This is simply preposterous. In the past, when he first became famous, many people could find Grandmaster D to help him forge formations. But ever since Grandmaster D forged high-grade Emperor-ranked weapons, it was extremely difficult to even meet with him. Even many major powers couldn't do so. After all, even the Mo clan, an aristocrat clan that specialized in formations, had their elders and clan leader's daughter working for the Emperor Pavilion. Grand Supervisor, what's wrong? The serving girl, little Zhu, couldn't help but ask when she saw Mo Fei's face turning black. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying 100 times was. This meant that originally, the Emperor Pavilion only needed to pay 1% or less of their resources. Only then would this ratio be considered normal and both parties would be satisfied. In the central city regions of Lifire City, a new power named the Emperor Pavilion appeared, and it was gradually growing stronger. However, the owner of the Emperor Pavilion, Di Tian, gradually faded out of everyone's sight, unlike when he first appeared. Good methods. Mo Fei praised. Mo Junyi's beautiful eyes also flashed with a bright light as she stared at the masked Di Tian. What was this fellow thinking? He was actually so powerful in this aspect as well. Is there no standard for the amount of tribute? Mo Junyi asked. It has been many years since we last met. Grandmaster D's radiance is even more radiant than before. Some old acquaintances of Di Tian stood up and greeted him. Di Tian nodded in acknowledgement, and walked up the auction stage together with Mo Junyi. Di Tian glanced at the crowd and naturally saw the people from the Yen clan and Lu clan. He also saw the clan leader of the Mo clan, Mo Ting, personally coming here. The amount of tribute a first-tier power has to pay is 100 times that of third-tier powers. Almost half of our earnings from the auction are only sufficient to pay the governor's manor. Mo Fei spoke. After all, although their Emperor Pavilion's development was very good, their earnings still depended on the auctions of the Emperor-ranked weapons forged by Di Tian. Those stalls in the Emperor Pavilion were all private businesses. They didn't have any other channels to earn resources. The stalls in the Emperor Pavilion were all packed to the brim. Because there were too many people, the supply and demand would naturally be too great. Those who were doing business in the Emperor Pavilion all had smiles on their faces, feeling gratitude towards Grandmaster D. Grandmaster D had allowed the Emperor Pavilion to develop so well, and didn't charge them any resources at all, providing the Emperor Pavilion to them for free. You. Beauty Xiao glanced sideways at Yin Qiu as she mocked. You are neither a man nor a woman. When the auction was about to begin, those who were here to trade their treasures all gathered up their treasures and headed to the auction location. The Grand Supervisor of the Emperor Pavilion, Mo Fei, appeared. He glanced at the crowd and thanked them, naturally welcoming everyone's support. Another tribute day arrived. The Emperor Pavilion was the same as many powers and had to pay tribute. The amount of resources they had to pay would be decided by the governor's manor based on the size of the businesses they owned. Because this was the first time they were paying tribute, the Grand Supervisor Mo Fei personally led a group of people over. But when he returned, Mo Fei was clearly unhappy. Not only for the Lu clan, the Yan clan and Grandmaster Xianming also arrived. But this time around they were very low profile, blending into the crowd. Grandmaster Xianming even wrapped himself up in a cloak. After that, Mo Junyi and Di Tian walked over together, resembling a pair of lovers. This caused Lu Feibai, who was in the crowd, to have an unnatural expression on his face. The people from the Lu clan have come again. The Emperor Pavilion. Grandmaster D would personally appear in the next auction. In addition, the items he would be auctioning were the divine weapons he forged recently. After that, all the major powers in Lifefire City started to pay attention to this. You came out. Mo Fei bitterly smiled. There's no solution to it. Governor Xiahou is too domineering. We can only endure it. Usually speaking, the governor's manner wouldn't do things without principles. Clearly, he hates you for rejecting him. Also, developing the Emperor Pavilion caused him to feel extremely unhappy. You even know that I'm wearing a mask? Can you not be smitten? Inqiu rolled her eyes. As time flowed by, the Emperor Pavilion grew more and more prosperous. After a round of expansion, many people would involuntarily think of the Emperor Pavilion when they wanted to trade for treasures. Did the Pavilion Lord offend the governor's manor before? Mo Fei asked. Nope. It's just that back then Governor Xiahou personally came by to invite the vice-governor. The Pavilion Lord naturally rejected him. Little Zhu replied. The popularity of the Emperor Pavilion grew bit by bit as time flowed by. Right now, the Emperor Pavilion's transaction market was already extremely prosperous. If they were to relocate, the losses would be extremely great. Let's use this opportunity to make an announcement. Also, if we set up an auction house here, our profits will be half compared to the other auction houses. Only by doing so would we have sufficient attractiveness to attract more people to send their treasures here to be auctioned. Other than this, I will set the auction date of my Emperor-ranked weapons as the auction date of high-grade treasures. Only the best treasures will be auctioned, letting the people of Lifefire City know that on this date of every month, our Emperor Pavilion will have good treasures. Di Tian spoke. Alright, the auction is starting. Let's see what good treasures he forged. Xiahou calmly spoke, interrupting the two of them. After that, their gazes all turned to the auction stage. Today, in the newly constructed auction house of the Emperor Pavilion, there was a sea of people. Experts were as common as the clouds and the spectator stands were already filled to the brim. Behind them, there were still countless silhouettes floating in the air, waiting to see what treasures Grandmaster D would take out. Although Grandmaster D rarely appeared in public, and the number of people mentioning his name in Lifefire City decreased, this didn't mean that his fame had weakened. On the contrary, as time passed, Grandmaster D's fame grew greater and greater. He was no longer someone who rose up overnight. This was especially so since the treasures he forged would be auctioned off at the Emperor Pavilion every month. Although Grandmaster D had vanished, his treasures were still there. How could his fame not soar? Di Tian nodded. His eyes flashed with coldness. How much would the first-tier powers lose from the tribute they pay? Chapter 1586. Mo Junyi was the golden daughter of the Mo clan, the daughter of the clan leader. Just like what Lin Ba said, if it wasn't for Di Tian forging a high-grade divine weapon back then, she wouldn't have come to the Emperor Pavilion to host the auction. Mo Fei also wouldn't have come to the Emperor Pavilion to be the Grand Supervisor. Before this, Mo Junyi was somewhat unwilling. But now she gradually got used to it. Although it was somewhat indecent to show her face in public like this, she would always be able to cause a commotion every time Di Tian auctioned a divine weapon. She still felt a sense of pride. After all, the divine weapons she auctioned would all fetch a sky-high price. At this moment, her beautiful eyes stared at Di Tian beside her. Di Tian took a step forward and smiled. In order to test the power of this weapon, I need a peak stage immortal emperor to cooperate with me. I wonder if there's anyone willing to try? I'll do it. Before everyone could react, a beautiful figure directly soared up into the air. Everyone inclined their heads as their gazes instantly froze. They saw a pair of snow-white slender legs that were faintly discernible. Her long skirt had a slit at the thighs, exuding a hazy sense of beauty. Just looking at her back view was enough to cause the blood of those who saw her to throb. This was definitely a devilish figure. Grandmaster D, how about I cooperate with you? This figure who walked out was none other than Beauty Xiao. Upon seeing her appearance, Di Tian started. After that he nodded, sure. The crowd only saw Beauty Xiao flying up into the air. That alluring face of hers was reflected in everyone's eyes. Her breasts were extremely voluptuous, and one could even see a hint of snow-white skin. It's the southern governor, Beauty Xiao. Some people from the major powers recognized Beauty Xiao as their eyes flashed with a bright light. This Beauty Xiao's actions had always been strange, and her personality was extremely eccentric. They didn't expect that she would actually appear in such a situation, and even help Di Tian test out his weapon. Di Tian soared up into the air. Beauty Xiao was bathed in emperor light. She who was originally already extremely charming had a holy glow to her, exuding a unique charm. She smiled at Di Tian. Grandmaster D, where's the divine weapon? Di Tian waved his hands as a black-colored gate appeared. This was a gate of sealing. On this gate, countless divine inscriptions could be seen, transforming into incomparably complicated diagrams. Resplendent astral light cascaded down from the sky onto this gate of sealing, causing it to emit a terrifying sealing light as it trembled unceasingly in the air. You have to be careful. Beauty Xiao smiled charmingly. Emperor light flashed as a powerful law domain manifested. In an instant, the entire space was filled with Beauty Xiao's illusory figures. Each of her illusory figures exuded a seductive aura. Every frown and smile of hers was enough to mesmerize the hearts of the spectators. The spectators below were all dumbfounded as they felt their consciousness gradually turning blurry. They were about to fall into a trance, unable to extricate themselves. In their eyes there was only Beauty Xiao. Di Tian waved his hands as beams of light blasted into the gate of sealing. The gate of sealing revolved frenziedly as beams of sealing light shot out. Under the shocked gazes of everyone, the illusory figures of Beauty Xiao were directly sealed within a sealing diagram, unable to move at all. When the gate of sealing swept through the air, the countless illusory figures were all sealed. Beauty Xiao's true body appeared. She stretched out a finger as resplendent multicolored light radiated forth, containing a fearsome destructive might within. That finger of hers manifested a myriad of illusory figures, capable of severing the void and destroying everything. It was simply unimaginable that someone as beautiful as her would actually be able to unleash such a terrifying attack. Illusory killing finger, Beauty Xiao is truly willing to use it. Lin Ba's eyes flashed, staring at the boundless finger light. But at this moment, the gate of sealing released boundless sealing light. Streams of sealing energy gushed out from the gate of sealing, colliding with the countless finger attacks, transforming into a terrifying sealing diagram. No matter how strong the attacks were, they were all intercepted and sealed away. So tyrannical? Beauty Xiao smiled. Her 10 jade-like fingers continued blasting out. The might of her illusory killing finger was boundless, directly slashing apart the sealing diagram. Finger light filled the sky, capable of annihilating everything as they shot towards Di Tian. It was like she wanted to see how strong this emperor-ranked weapon was. As she attacked, Beauty Xiao had a smile on her face, exuding her charm. The sealing gate revolved frenziedly as the light in the air grew even more resplendent, radiating boundless emperor light. This entire space seemed to be sealed as thousands of fingers of slaughter froze the void. The sealing gate radiated a blinding sealing light towards Beauty Xiao. Beauty Xiao's silhouette flashed, vanishing like a phantom. An instant later, she returned to her original position in the air. Her long dress fluttered in the wind, exuding an incomparable allure. What a powerful emperor-ranked weapon! Beauty Xiao's face lit up. After that, she slowly sat back down. The eyes of everyone here gleamed with sharpness. They naturally could sense how terrifying this gate of sealing was. It could seal all attacks, law domains, and even enemies. It was simply too powerful. Is there anyone else who wants to try? Di Tian asked. There's no need. Grandmaster D, what's the starting bid for this weapon? Someone asked. Haha, such a treasure is simply rare. Grandmaster D's weaponsmithing abilities are even more powerful than before. In the crowd, Grandmaster Xuanming's expression turned heavy. Right now, even he himself wouldn't be able to forge a divine weapon like the one Di Tian created. I'll leave the auction to Mo Jinyi. Di Tian laughed. He landed on the auction platform and placed the sealing gate beside Mo Jinyi. Mo Jinyi rolled her eyes at him. After that, she smiled at everyone. I believe everyone is already impatient, right? The starting bid for this weapon is 10,000 high-grade Emperor Stones. If there are any other valuable treasures, you can directly convert them into Emperor Stones. What a terrifying price. The hearts of everyone trembled, but this was also within their expectations. Such a tyrannical weapon could be used to fight against peak-stage immortal emperors. How powerful was Beauty Xiao's attack? Yet it was actually blocked by this weapon. If this weapon was obtained by a peak-stage expert, it would undoubtedly be like adding wings to a tiger. However, even for peak-stage immortal emperors, there weren't many who could afford this price. 20,000 high-grade Emperor Stones. Beauty Xiao smiled sweetly, directly doubling the price. Many people sighed in their hearts. They could only watch. Di Tian was very calm. He watched as the price continued to rise. Finally, this sealing gate was sold for a price of 53,000 high-grade Emperor Stones, won by Beauty Xiao. This caused many people to sigh in admiration at her heroism. However, those who knew of her identity didn't find it strange. As the governor of the southern regions, Beauty Xiao was naturally extremely wealthy. After that, the grand supervisor of the Emperor Pavilion, Mo Fei, walked up the auction platform and officially announced that the Emperor Pavilion would be opening an auction house, setting this area as the auction ground for the Emperor Pavilion. This instantly caused a commotion. So it turned out that this was the true purpose of the Emperor Pavilion. An auction house in addition to a transaction ground. When the Emperor Pavilion flourishes to a sufficient extent, the Emperor Pavilion would definitely become a new major power. However, many powers had already guessed this and didn't find it strange. After everyone left, news of what happened in the Emperor Pavilion naturally circulated around. Di Tian and the sealing gate once again became the topic of discussion. For a period of time, the name of Grandmaster Di Tian was like the sun in the sky. Who would be able to forge such a terrifying emperor-ranked weapon at the initial stage of the immortal emperor realm? Everyone knew that Grandmaster D's future was simply unimaginable. Not long after the Emperor Pavilion's auction ended, the 5 governors of Lifire City collected the tributes and came to the Lifire Palace again. According to the usual routine, the Lifire Empyrean and Grand Governor Zhuge Xiong personally went to meet the 5 governors. Qin Wentian naturally came as well. The 5 governors handed over the tributes they collected. The 2 serving girls of the Lifire Empyrean returned 10% to them. After that, they transmitted their voices to the Lifire Empyrean. The Lifire Empyrean smiled at Qin Wentian as he asked, Qin Wentian, what have you been busy with recently? I've been busy with cultivation recently, Qin Wentian replied. Is the pressure too great in the northern city regions? The Lifire Empyrean seemed to be very concerned. Qin Wentian shook his head. This subordinate is ashamed. I've been the governor for over 20 years, and have yet to have any accomplishments. Many people say that this subordinate doesn't dare to step out of the governor's manor. How would I dare to say that I'm under pressure? So you know about it. Xiaohou coldly snorted. I heard that the northern city regions are still the same as before. Many powers don't even want to pay tributes. You might as well close one eye to it. This governor is truly capable. Xiahou, the Liefire Empyrean, has already promised Governor Qin 100 years ago. It has only been 20 years. I believe Governor Qin will naturally understand what he should do. Zhuge Xiong smiled as he stared at Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian lowered his head and didn't say anything. This northern governor who killed 3 vice-governors the moment he took over was now so low profile that it caused people's hair to stand on end. He had always been in closed-door seclusion and didn't care about external affairs. He didn't even care about the tributes and was like a puppet governor. Grand Governor is right. It's just that I can't stand the sight of some people. Xiahou coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. Xiahou, after all, Wentian has only been the governor for 20 years. He isn't like you who has long established your roots. I heard that a grandmaster by the name of Di Tian appeared in the region you are in. Regardless of formations or weaponsmithing, he is extremely extraordinary. In fact, this beauty even personally went to auction off an emperor-ranked weapon. Is there such a thing? The Liefire Empyrean smiled. The eyes of Qin Wentian, who had his head lowered, flashed with sharpness. But after that, it was as though nothing had happened as he quietly stood there. Did he attract the Liefire Empyrean's attention so quickly? Palace Lord, there's indeed such a thing. However, there might be some exaggerations. Xiahou replied. Is that so? The Liefire Empyrean laughed. Is there any way to recruit him? Palace Lord. This subordinate has long promised him the position of vice-governor, but he rejected it. Xiahou spoke. Xiahou, you should know that there are very few people who can forge weapons. Even our Liefire Palace lacks them. You should work hard and try again. You can hint to him that he has a position equal to the governor. If necessary, you can say that this seat is interested in him. The Liefire Empyrean smiled. Xiahou nodded. This subordinate understands. I will definitely do my best. Right. The Liefire Empyrean waved his hand. You guys can return first. Yes, Palace Lord. The 5 of them bowed and retreated. After that, they turned and departed. Chapter 1587. Since the Liefire Empyrean personally gave the order, Xiahou naturally had to do it. Although Xiahou was very unhappy with Di Tian's rejection, and didn't want to invite Di Tian again, so what if Di Tian was a grandmaster weaponsmith? It wouldn't affect his authority. If it wasn't for the Liefire Empyrean speaking, he wouldn't even bother with Di Tian. This time around, Xiahou didn't come personally. He ordered a vice-governor to come to the Emperor Pavilion. Mo Fei knew that Xiahou sent someone over and immediately went to look for Di Tian. Di Tian naturally understood what was going on and coldly laughed in his heart. The Liefire Empyrean wanted Xiahou to invite him, and he sent a vice-governor to the governor's manor? Not long ago, the Liefire Empyrean had ruthlessly butchered him, classifying them as a third-tier power as a first-tier power. Now he even wanted him to pay a visit personally? Tell him I'm not free. Di Tian spoke to Mo Fei. However, Mo Fei furrowed his brows. Di Tian, do you want to smooth things over? After all, the central region of Liefire City is Xiahou's territory. No need. It's impossible for me to agree if he wants to invite me to join the governor's manor. Since I've already offended him before and will offend him again in the future, there's no need to give him face. Di Tian replied. As long as they didn't do anything that broke the rules and didn't take the initiative to antagonize the governor's manor. Even if Xiahou was the governor, what could he do to them? Mo Fei fell silent for a moment before he nodded. All right then. After speaking, he went to report to the vice-governor. When the vice-governor left, his expression was extremely unsightly. This was already the second time he was rejected. Back then, Xiahou personally went to look for Di Tian, but was rejected. This time around he didn't even manage to meet Di Tian. As expected, after becoming a grandmaster weaponsmith, Di Tian was truly different. Now that he was famous, he didn't even give any face to the governor. After returning to the governor's manor, Xiahou learned that let alone inviting Di Tian to his manor, he didn't even get to see Di Tian. He instantly shattered the table beside him and stood up. I want to see how much face he has. After speaking, Xiahou personally left the governor's manor and came to the Emperor Pavilion. Since the Livefire Empyrean had instructed him, he had to do it even if he didn't want to. Even if he didn't succeed in the end, at least he did his best. If not, it wouldn't be too good if the Livefire Empyrean knew that he didn't even place the Livefire Empyrean in his heart. Since Xiahou personally came, Ditian also didn't wish to shed all pretense of cordiality with Xiahou. Hence, he invited Xiahou to take a seat in his residence and smiled. Governor Xiahou, your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. Right now, Grandmaster D's name is renowned throughout Livefire City, but he's very busy. It's difficult for him to even meet with you. Xiahou hinted. I'm indeed very busy. This place of mine is small and has just started. Lord Governor also overestimates my Emperor Pavilion too much and designated it as a first-tier power. I have no choice but to work hard. Ditian smiled. The two of them had hidden meanings in their words. Ditian laughed coldly in his heart. You came here to invite me, yet you still have such an arrogant expression on your face. Do you really think that everyone has to give you face? Not long ago, you just slashed me with a knife. Could it be that you want me to lower my head and beg you? As expected, Ditian's words caused Xiahou to frown. A look of unhappiness flashed in his eyes as he spoke. Who asked Grandmaster D to be so famous? Who doesn't know about you? This time around, I came here because I have good news to tell you. Oh, Ditian laughed. He already knew the answer, but he still continued. Lord Governor, please guide me. This time around, I recommended you to the Livefire Empyrean. After the Empyrean learned of your talent, he sent you here to be my assistant. If you join my governor's manor, in the future, I will nurture you as a future governor. Such an opportunity is extremely rare. Xiahou stared at Ditian as he spoke, with an expression of I'm doing this out of charity. That look on his face was as though Ditian wanted to kowtow 3 times and kowtow 9 times to thank him for his great kindness. Ditian started, staring at Xiahou in bewilderment. This arrogant grand governor could actually be so shameless? He was the one who recommended him to the Livefire Empyrean? To be his assistant? Vice-governor? None of these were correct. It was the Livefire Empyrean who personally asked him about it. Also, it was said that his position was equal to a governor. Why did it suddenly become a vice-governor? What a sinister Xiahou! Ditian silently mused. Was this considered him sending out an invitation on behalf of the Livefire Empyrean? If he didn't agree, in the future when Xiahou reported to the Livefire Empyrean, he would definitely say that he, Xiahou, personally paid a visit to the Livefire Empyrean, but he, Ditian, didn't know what was good for him and rejected the Livefire Empyrean's kind intentions. Ditian could guess this even with his eyes closed. However, his expression didn't change as he smiled. Ditian is filled with gratitude for the Livefire Empyrean's kind intentions. I also have to thank Governor Xiahou for your recommendation. However, I'm truly used to being free and carefree. I only wish to do something in the Emperor Pavilion. I hope that Lord Governor won't take offense. Everyone has their own ambitions. This governor naturally won't force you. I will naturally report this to the Livefire Empyrean. Xiahou nodded. Since this is the case, I shall bid my farewell then. Governor Xiahou, take care. Ditian couldn't even be bothered to say any polite words. He directly stood up and sent Xiahou off. Xiahou smiled and walked out. After he exited the Emperor Pavilion, his expression instantly turned heavy as a cold light flashed in his eyes. It was extremely terrifying. He naturally could sense that Ditian didn't give him any face at all. Outside the Emperor Pavilion, a few passers-by noticed Xiahou's expression. During these few days, the Emperor Pavilion was very lively with people coming and going. Nobody would care about the passers-by, and Xiahou didn't mind as well. After returning to the governor's manor, Xiahou naturally ordered his vice-governor to report this to the Livefire Empyrean. Naturally, he modified his report. For example, he clearly expressed how much the Livefire Empyrean valued him, but Ditian was filled with disdain. Several days later, several people came to the governor's manor to pay their respects to Governor Xiahou. Because these people had extraordinary statuses, Governor Xiaoho personally received them. Within the Great Hall, Governor Xiaoho sat on the main seat. Below him was the vice-governor's seat. As for those below him, there were a few people with extremely high cultivation bases. All of them were peak-stage immortal emperors. Clearly, these people who came to pay a visit today had extraordinary statuses. Yan Feng was actually among the crowd. Not only that, Yan Feng was seated below an old man. This indicated that his status in the Yan clan was even lower than that old man. So it turned out that this old man was none other than the Yan clan leader. As for the other two clans, their statuses weren't inferior to the Yan clan leader at all. They came from the two first-tier powers in the central city regions of Lifefire City. They were the leaders of the two aristocrat clans. Also, they all had the same power behind them, an auction house and a transaction ground. Right now, the Emperor Pavilion was gradually threatening their status. The territory of the central city regions was fixed. There wouldn't be too many changes no matter how many experts there were. Once the Emperor Pavilion rose up, the central city regions would become more prosperous and the number of people on their side would decrease by a lot. In the future, if everyone went to the Emperor Pavilion for their auctions, it would naturally cause a huge impact to them. Hence, they came to the governor's manor, and even brought the Yan clan along. After all, everyone knew that the Yan clan had a grudge with Tian. The two aristocrat clans were respectively the Han clan and Wei clan. Both of them were extremely ancient aristocrat clans that had developed for many years in Lifefire City. If not, they wouldn't have been able to expand their auction houses to such a large scale. In the ancient hall, a group of people were chatting casually, but they didn't get to the main topic. It was only until the two clan leaders glanced at the Yan clan leader did he speak. Lord Governor, what do you think of the Emperor Pavilion? Xiaoho smiled at the Yan clan leader. What are you referring to? This Grandmaster D is extremely arrogant and despotic. Back then before he became famous, he already joined my Yan clan and killed two experts from my clan. He simply has no regard for anyone. He didn't even place the rules of the governor's manor in his eyes. Now after he became famous, he grew even more arrogant. No one can be placed in his heart. The Yan clan leader coldly spoke, using righteous words to implicate the governor's manor. Back then, Tian and the Yan clan had a fair battle. What did this have to do with the governor's manor? However, no one would expose him. Who among the people here wasn't scheming and far-sighted? That's right. Lord Governor, the Emperor Pavilion opened a transaction pavilion in this region before opening an auction house. In fact, they didn't even inform us beforehand, completely disregarding us seniors. Seniors, didn't you all see how Tian humiliated Grandmaster Xianming? Right now, Grandmaster Xianming doesn't even have the face to show his face. A group of people spoke one after another, all of them filled with righteous indignation. They finally got to the main topic. This Tian truly has his own methods. The development of a power depends on one's own methods. Come, let's drink. Governor Xiaoho laughed. The people from the other clans all silently cursed at this old fox. His words were equivalent to not saying anything at all. They had already investigated and knew that this Xiaoho personally went to the Emperor Pavilion. And when he came out, his expression was ashen. Right now, they came here because they wanted Xiaoho to promise them that if they acted against the Emperor Pavilion, the governor's manor would close one eye to it. Naturally, they wouldn't say such words out loud. It was fine as long as everyone knew about it in their hearts. Just a hint and everyone would understand. However, Xiaoho didn't say anything and didn't express his stance. No matter what they said, Xiaoho acted as though he didn't hear it and continued to urge them to drink. Lord Governor, a few days ago, my auction house sold a small item. It doesn't have much value but it's extremely interesting. Please kindly accept it. The clan leader of the Han clan took out an interspatial ring. Xiaoho received it and sent his immortal sense into the ring. After that he smiled. It's truly an interesting item. The vice-governor at the side cursed silently in his heart. Continue acting. However, they naturally wouldn't say anything. Such things were very common. Even if the palace lord knew about it, he wouldn't say anything. The other two clans also offered their gifts and Governor Xiaoho accepted them. The banquet was very joyous and finally ended. Xiaohou ordered the vice-governor to personally send the clans off. Before leaving, the vice-governor smiled. "Clan leaders, please take care." The clan leaders nodded, but they felt somewhat unhappy. They had already paid a visit and sent gifts, but they didn't receive any response. "Clan leaders, are you all unhappy? You guys don't know how impressive this Grandmaster D is." Back then when Lord Governor went to the Lifefire Palace to pay tribute, the Palace Lord personally said that he wanted to recruit Grandmaster D. However, Grandmaster D didn't seem to have any interest in him at all. It said that the Palace Lord was very unhappy. Tell me, given how impressive Grandmaster D is, how would he give face to the clan leaders? The vice-governor had a deep smile on his face. The eyes of the clan leaders gleamed with sharpness. Rejected the Palace Lord? The Palace Lord was very unhappy? So this is the case. Grandmaster D is truly impressive. The Han clan leader had a smile on his face. Impressive, no wonder. The Wei clan leader also smiled. The few of them exchanged glances and smiled. After that, all of them left in satisfaction, having obtained the answer they wanted. With just a single sentence, they understood. Chapter 1588. The Emperor Pavilion's auction house was gradually on the right track. Many experts came here because of its fame, willing to hand their treasures over to the Emperor Pavilion for auction. Although they didn't have too many good treasures, they were still gradually gaining popularity. In addition, the Emperor Pavilion's transaction market itself was able to attract more people to the auction house. In addition, every month, Grandmaster D Tian would take out an Emperor-ranked weapon he personally forged to be auctioned. The crowd discovered that the treasures auctioned today were all extremely rare and extraordinary. This continued for several months, and everyone came to a conclusion. Every month, when the Emperor-ranked weapons created by Grandmaster D Tian were being auctioned, there would be extremely valuable treasures appearing. Hence, the Emperor Pavilion would always be exceptionally lively on this day. Although there weren't many people during normal days, Mo Fei wasn't worried. As long as this continued, he believed that the Emperor Pavilion's auction house would only get better and better. In addition, the transaction market was also expanding. More and more people were willing to come here to trade. Everything was progressing in a good direction. He and Mo Junyi would stay in the Emperor Pavilion for 100 years. He believed that within this 100 years, the Emperor Pavilion would definitely become a major power in Lifefire City that couldn't be underestimated. Today, it was another auction day for the Emperor-ranked weapon forged by D Tian. It was a mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapon, a stone tablet. This stone tablet was made from a miraculous material and was inscribed with terrifying runes. Once it unleashed its power, it would be able to directly seal and kill enemies. Right now, everyone in Lifefire City knew that Grandmaster D's weaponsmithing abilities were getting stronger and stronger. He could create many types of divine weapons, and was an all-round genius. It was just that no one knew how long Grandmaster D had cultivated for, and what his appearance was like. Up until now, no one had ever seen D Tian's true appearance before. Even Mo Junyi and his serving girl, Little Zhu, had never seen D Tian's true appearance before. After the auction ended, everyone felt that it wasn't enough, and they all left. After the auction ended, Mo Fei and Mo Junyi heaved a sigh of relief. Mo Fei smiled. It's time for the Emperor Pavilion to continue expanding. With our current manpower, we might not be able to make ends meet. Given our current development momentum, I believe there would be more people willing to join us. MHM. Mo Junyi nodded lightly. Miss, it has been tough on you. Mo Fei glanced at Mo Junyi. I'm doing fine. Mo Junyi casually smiled. Mo Fei cast a deep glance at her and smiled. Sadly, this Grandmaster D is truly a rock. Grand Supervisor. At this moment, a figure hurriedly walked over. It was none other than the immortal Emperor that the Emperor Pavilion recruited. What's the matter? Mo Fei couldn't help but ask when he saw how flustered the other party was. There's a problem. After the treasure forged by the Pavilion Lord was auctioned off, it was intercepted by someone on the way. Not only that, all the people who obtained treasures from the auction were robbed at the same time. That immortal emperor spoke. Mo Fei instantly sat up from his chair as his heart turned cold. As an elder of the Mo clan, Mo Fei had a peak-stage immortal emperor cultivation base, and had experienced many things before. He instantly felt that something was amiss. His eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness as he clenched his fists. Someone is targeting my Emperor Pavilion. Grand Supervisor, you mean to say that they aren't here for the treasures but for our Emperor Pavilion? That immortal emperor also had his suspicions. Such ruthlessness, capturing all the treasures in one fell swoop. This isn't something an ordinary power can accomplish. One must know that the people who won the auction are all extremely powerful, especially the immortal emperors who obtained the treasure forged by the Pavilion Lord. All of them were robbed at the same time, and were even injured. Clearly, this has been planned for a very long time. Naturally, they are targeting our Emperor Pavilion. Mo Fei's eyes were extremely cold. After this news circulates out, I'm afraid many people would be suspicious. All the treasures auctioned by my Emperor Pavilion were stolen. Although no one would be foolish enough to suspect us of this, in the future, no one would dare to come to my Emperor Pavilion for auction, pulling the firewood from under the cauldron. That immortal emperor understood when he heard this. Most probably, the guess of the Grand Supervisor was right. I've long been thinking that since the Emperor Pavilion's development is so good, why would those major powers sit by and watch? Now they finally came. Not only that, the moment they acted, they were so ruthless, wanting to sever our path of retreat. Mo Fei's eyes flashed with coldness. Mo Junyi asked, who do you suspect? Our Emperor Pavilion blocked someone's path. Naturally, it must be one of them. Mo Fei spoke. Also, only those major powers would have such a grand plan. Immediately head to the governor's manor and report this matter. Let the governor's manor investigate this matter. We have to get to the bottom of this. Mo Fei spoke to the immortal emperor in front of him. That immortal emperor nodded and turned about, speeding towards the governor's manor. After he left, Mo Fei's brows were still tightly furrowed. Miss, I'm a little worried. Mo Fei mumbled. Mo Junyi glanced at him and asked, worried about what? I'm worried that the governor's manor might have tacitly agreed to this. Mo Fei glanced at Mo Junyi, his words causing Mo Junyi's expression to change. The governor's manor is responsible for guarding a region. That shouldn't be the case, right? You don't know this, Ditian has offended Xiaohou before. Although there's nothing we can do about it, Xiaohou is arrogant and tyrannical. It's very possible that he would harbor hatred in his heart. If those major powers continue to sow discord between us, there's a high possibility that Xiaohou would tacitly agree to their actions. If that's the case, the momentum that our Emperor Pavilion built up after so much effort would be directly crushed. One couldn't help but say that Mo Fei's guess was basically correct. Since this is the case, we can only wait and see. Mo Junyi spoke. We can only wait and see the governor's manor's attitude. Mo Fei nodded lightly. Ditian soon learned of this news, and his mood was extremely unsightly. Just like what Mo Fei had guessed, the other party had planned this meticulously, and they basically couldn't find any clues. Also, the governor's manor sent a message saying that they were currently investigating this matter, but there were no results for now. In the Great Hall of the Emperor Pavilion, Ditian sat there. Mo Fei, Mo Junyi and the others were all present. How's the Heaven Emperor Pavilion's auction house? Ditian asked. The number of people has decreased. Mo Fei replied. What about the governor's manor? Did the spies send back any news? Everything is as usual in the governor's manor. No one captured anyone for questioning, and there are only a few spies sent out to investigate. Mo Fei replied. Ditian fell silent. His fingers drummed on the armrest of the chair beside him as he slowly closed his eyes. Does everyone have any good plans? Ditian asked. No one replied. After a long time, Mo Fei spoke. If the governor's manor pretended to be deaf and mute, leaving aside the fact that we wouldn't be able to find out anything, even if we did, it would be useless. The power of the other party is much greater than us. Let's leave it at that for now. Tian stood up and directly left the great hall. Mo Fei sighed silently in his heart. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, such things were very common. The other party didn't even need to clash head-on with you, and they would be able to make you die without a burial ground, causing your many years of hard work to vanish in an instant. The Emperor Pavilion continued its business as usual. After that, a few more incidents occurred. The people who came to the Emperor Pavilion to trade were all plotted against. In truth, Mo Fei had already sent people to monitor the situation, but there were too many people who came to the Emperor Pavilion to trade. Could it be that they could protect everyone? Clearly, this wasn't realistic. Gradually, some unfavorable rumors about the Emperor Pavilion appeared in Lifefire City. The Emperor Pavilion had courted trouble. Regardless if one went to the Emperor Pavilion to trade or auction, it was best to be more careful. Such news was extremely destructive to the Emperor Pavilion, causing the number of people coming to the Emperor Pavilion to dwindle. Once again, a divine weapon personally forged by Tian was robbed after it was auctioned. The Emperor Pavilion was instantly plunged into a storm. If this continued on, even if they knew that Grandmaster D's divine weapon was very powerful, no one would dare to auction it off. The number of people in the Emperor Pavilion grew fewer and fewer. If this continued on, the Emperor Pavilion would surely be destroyed. Today Tian walked out of the Emperor Pavilion. Even Xiao Zhu and Mo Fei had no idea where he went. In the southern regions of Lifefire City, the governor's manor. Today a special guest came to pay a visit. This person was very famous and many people in Lifefire City had heard of his name before. In fact, the southern governor even auctioned off a divine weapon forged by him. Hence, Beauty Xiao naturally personally received this guest. In an elegant and fragrant courtyard, the environment was extremely pleasant. Beauty Xiao was dressed even more boldly in her own home. She wore a dress that was as thin as muslin, revealing her devilish figure. Half of her snow-white skin was exposed to the air, causing people to feel like committing a crime. Grandmaster D, why are you so free to come and visit me? Beauty Xiao smiled charmingly. The two of them sat by the lake with delicacies and wine in the middle. The serving girls were all sent away by Beauty Xiao. The pavilion by the lake, the fake mountains and peach blossoms, the beauty sitting cross-legged. This scene was extremely alluring. This was especially so when Beauty Xiao's mesmerizing eyes stared at him. Tian felt somewhat distracted, but he still controlled himself very well. He then spoke. Recently, I encountered a troublesome matter and wanted to seek Governor Zhao's guidance. Oh, Beauty Xiao smiled. Grandmaster D, you can just address me as Beauty. I wonder what's the matter? Wanting people to address her as Beauty. This Beauty Xiao was truly narcissistic enough. A few days ago, Governor Xiaoho came to my Emperor Pavilion and told me a piece of news. He said that he recommended me to the Lifefire Empyrean. Hence, the Lifefire Empyrean asked me a few questions and ordered me to become a subordinate of Governor Xiaoho, immediately closing the Emperor Pavilion. In the future, I can only forge weapons for the governor's manor, and I have to offer them to the Lifefire Palace. Tian slowly spoke. How can I agree to such a condition? The Emperor Pavilion was developed by me, and I'm used to freedom. Hence, I risked defending the Lifefire Empyrean and rejected Governor Xiaoho's request. Beauty Zhao's expression didn't change as she smiled at Tian. This caused Tian to silently curse that this Beauty Xiao wasn't an ordinary character, and was extremely shrewd. There was actually no change in her expression at all. Governor Xiaoho immediately spoke ruthlessly, telling me that if I don't obey the Lifefire Empyrean's orders, the Emperor Pavilion will close its doors. I was speechless. I thought that the Lifefire Empyrean wouldn't bother with a minor character like me. However, recently, my Emperor Pavilion suffered a destructive blow. Those who went to the Emperor Pavilion to auction off my divine weapons would all suffer a calamity, a few times in a row. Also, those who went to the Emperor Pavilion to trade with me also encountered all sorts of trouble. The governor's manor completely pretended to not know anything. My Emperor Pavilion is a first-tier power, and we pay the most tributes, yet we are treated like this. I feel a chill in my heart. Chapter 1589. Back then when Xiahou went to the Emperor Pavilion, although he was somewhat arrogant and wanted him to become a vice-governor, he didn't go overboard to the point where he wanted him to close the Emperor Pavilion. In the future, he could only forge weapons for the Livefire Empyrean. In addition, he claimed that this was an order Xiahou received from the Livefire Empyrean, directly pulling the Livefire Empyrean in as well. However, Ditian didn't feel that there was anything wrong with this. Xiahou originally made a false order, and even lied that he was the one who recommended the Livefire Empyrean. After that, the governor's manor even wanted to kill his Emperor Pavilion. Ditian didn't need to think to know that Xiahou's words would be completely different from what he said. Most probably he, Ditian, would have to bear the crime of disrespecting the Livefire Empyrean. Since this was the case, he naturally had to drag the Livefire Empyrean into this. After all, his purpose for coming here was to pass this message to the Livefire Empyrean through Beauty Xiao. If not, what was his purpose for coming here? If the Livefire Empyrean only knew that Xiahou wanted to deal with him, just because he didn't agree to join the governor's manor, the Livefire Empyrean would turn a blind eye to this matter, and couldn't be bothered with his Emperor Pavilion. But if the Livefire Empyrean knew that he had taken the blame for Xiahou, and that Xiahou had been pretending to obey him, Xiahou would surely be unhappy. As for whether the Livefire Empyrean would believe it or not, even if the Livefire Empyrean didn't believe it, he would definitely be suspicious. After all, as long as he inquired about it, he would know that something happened to his Emperor Pavilion. Beauty Xiao smiled as she stared at Ditian. And then, Ditian stared at this extremely alluring vixen as he sighed. If this is the case, I can only leave and head to the other main cities of the 9 world palaces. You want me to pass the message for you? Beauty Xiao smiled at Ditian, instantly understanding his intentions. In truth, Ditian wanted her to understand. He then took out an interspatial ring and passed it to Beauty Xiao. Beauty, this is the Emperor Stone you obtained from the auction for my weapon. How would I really want it? Beauty, please take it back. Beauty Xiao didn't accept it. If she accepted it, it would mean that she agreed to help Ditian. I just want to see your face. Beauty Xiao continued to reveal a seductive smile. Due to some special reasons, it's not convenient for me to show my true face. Ditian shook his head. These Monarch stones are not enough for you to remove your mask? Beauty Xiao was still smiling, feeling more and more curious. An initial stage immortal emperor, a grandmaster in formations, a peak stage weaponsmith, the founder of the Emperor Pavilion, and now, he was preparing to fight against Xiahou. She really wanted to see what was hidden beneath that mask. Ditian shook his head and looked at Beauty Xiao. However, the more he acted like this, the more curious Beauty Xiao felt. She smiled. Since this is the case, Grandmaster D, please return. Ditian smiled and nodded. After that he spoke. Governor Xiao, sorry for the disturbance. After we bid farewell today, I'm afraid it would be hard for us to meet again in the future. Let us meet again in the future. As he spoke, he prepared to get up. You would rather give up the Emperor Pavilion that is developing so well than to let me see your face? Who exactly are you? Beauty Xiao asked. Even if I have to start all over again, given my proficiency in formations and weaponsmithing, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to rise up in the other 9 world palaces. Right now, my cultivation base is still a little weak. Once I break through to the mid-stage of the Immortal Emperor realm, regardless of combat prowess or weaponsmithing abilities, they would all grow stronger. At that time, even if I encounter a governor like Xiahou again, I wouldn't need to care about him. Ditian calmly spoke. The humility and politeness he exuded instantly vanished without a trace. Right now, only the pride and arrogance of a grandmaster in formations and weaponsmithing remained. Maybe this was his true self. Beauty Xiao's eyes flashed with a bright light as she stared at Ditian. Such a Ditian was more interesting. She liked it. Only to see Beauty Xiao standing up, walking over to Ditian's side and sitting down. She who was only wearing a thin dress with straps, her alluring figure actually directly laid down on Ditian's thighs. That alluring figure was just inches away from him, causing Ditian's heart to tremble as his countenance fluctuated. This female vixen. As long as he was willing, He would be able to touch places he shouldn't touch. Upon seeing the change in Tian's eyes, Beauty Xiao giggled. Her beauty was so alluring that it was as though tears were dripping from her eyes. Do you want to accept me? In that case, I'll be yours and will definitely pass on your message. Beauty Xiao's enticing voice rang out. Tian's eyes flashed with a smile. He stretched out his hands and touched that supple skin. His hands roamed around as he smiled. Beauty, you have the status of a governor. Initially, I wouldn't dare to be disrespectful to you. However, if you continue to tempt me like this, as long as I'm an ordinary person, I would definitely not be able to control myself and eat you up. It's just that I have to say this first. I have a family. Even if I eat you up, I won't be responsible for it. Don't kill me. A strange light flashed in Beauty Xiao's eyes. She smiled. That's fine too. If you are born handsome, I won't be at a disadvantage. Let me take a look at your face. If it's good, I'll give in to you. Tian's palms were still roaming around. That soft and supple skin felt extremely wondrous to the touch. In fact, his hands even started moving towards places he shouldn't be touching. However, he only saw Beauty Xiao smiling as she placed her hand on the bottom of the mountain, blocking Tian's advance. You haven't let me see yet. Beauty Xiao's other hand stretched out, wanting to remove Tian's mask. However, just when her hand was about to touch his face, Tian grabbed her hand and shook his head with a smile. This won't do. I can't endure it anymore. Let's do what we need to do first. As he spoke, the other hand from the bottom of the mountain continued to invade, slowly climbing up, causing Beauty Xiao to let out a soft moan. Her countenance turned even more beautiful, yet she still tightly grabbed onto his hand. After that, her body slid out from Tian's embrace like a water snake, returning to her seat. She stared at him. You are truly audacious. You don't even want to let me see your face and you already want to take my body? Governor, you should know how strong your allure is. If it wasn't for the fact that my state of heart is extraordinary, I wouldn't have been able to endure it. Tian calmly smiled. I'll leave the emperor-ranked stone behind. Regardless of whether you help me or not, that emperor-ranked weapon will still be given to you by me. Just treat it as me taking advantage of you earlier. After I return, I will temporarily close the Emperor Pavilion. If the matter isn't resolved within 3 months, I can only leave Lifefire City. Farewell. As he spoke, Tian stood up, turned around and walked out. Beauty Xiao smiled as she stared at the departing back of Tian. After that, she stood up and walked to the lakeside, staring at her extremely alluring figure. She stroked her long hair as she mumbled. Is my body so weak that it doesn't have any allure? I can't even remove a mask. She naturally knew that before this, Tian wanted to advance in order to retreat, intentionally trying to probe her bottom line. She was thinking that if she didn't stop him earlier, would Tian still dare to take her? She placed her hands on the straps on her shoulders and pulled them apart. Her thin dress slid down, revealing her devilish figure that could cause the blood of men to boil. After that, she slowly stepped into the lake. The scene was too beautiful. Just like what Tian said to Beauty Xiao, after he returned, the Emperor Pavilion would be temporarily closed. He also posted a notice to inform Lifefire City. Recently, the Emperor Pavilion was plotted against by a major power. Also, the governor's manor couldn't find any information. In order to protect the interests of those who came to the Emperor Pavilion for an auction, the Emperor Pavilion decided to temporarily close for 3 months. If the governor's manor still couldn't find the mastermind within 3 months, the Emperor Pavilion would be closed forever and would be relocated. If the governor's manor could find the mastermind, the Emperor Pavilion would reopen 3 months later and hold a grand auction. At that time, Grandmaster Tian would take out 3 emperor-ranked weapons for auction. Finally, the Emperor Pavilion stated that although they were classified as a first-tier power, their strength was actually a little weak. They hoped that the governor's manor would do their best to capture the mastermind on account of the first-tier taxes they paid. This notice didn't seem to contain any anger, but it caused many people to feel shocked in their hearts. The Emperor Pavilion was truly cutting off all means of retreat. There were so many hidden messages in the notice. There wasn't a single sentence that blamed the governor's manor, but the spearhead was all pointed at the governor's manor. For example, they were classified as a first-tier power and had to pay first-tier taxes. Also, the governor's manor couldn't find any information after so many major incidents happened, and they hoped that the governor's manor would do their best. However, the notice was extremely tactful. There wasn't a single sentence that offended or blamed the governor's manor. The governor's manor also couldn't say anything. Right now, how could the people of Lifefire City not be able to tell that the governor's manor had participated in this matter as well, acting against the major powers in their own regions, forcing the Emperor Pavilion to leave? This was simply too shameless. After collecting first-tier taxes, they still did such a thing. For a period of time, many voices of cursing towards the governor's manor appeared in Lifefire City. This was especially so for those powers who had a good impression of the Emperor Pavilion, as well as those who had cooperated with Dtion. All of them intentionally released this news. The Emmo clan even used some of their power to add fuel to the flames, causing this matter to blow up even more. A notice that didn't target the governor's manor instantly circulated through Lifefire City, becoming a scandal about the shady dealings of the governor's manor. As the commotion grew, many people silently praised the methods of the Emperor Pavilion. They actually took a step back in order to advance. If the Emperor Pavilion didn't temporarily close down, it would only cause more and more panic in the hearts of the people. But now, after this notice was released, countless people were paying attention to the Emperor Pavilion. If they couldn't endure this, the Emperor Pavilion would leave and the governor's manor would still be cursed. But if they could endure this, given the amount of attention this time around, the popularity of the Emperor Pavilion might instantly recover to its peak on the day they reopened. In the governor's manor, Xiaoho was enraged. Killing intent radiated from him. He wanted nothing more than to order his men to trample the Emperor Pavilion to the ground. However, from the start to the end, the Emperor Pavilion didn't say a single word of cursing at the governor's manor. Even if he wanted to accuse the Emperor Pavilion of a crime, he couldn't do so. In addition, he had indeed collected first-tier taxes from the Emperor Pavilion. He could only accept it. Dtion, Palace Lord, you even dared to reject us and still want to retaliate? I'll wait for you to scram 3 months later. This was the anger of Xiaoho. Chapter 1590. The news of the Emperor Pavilion spread like wildfire. Many people were discussing in private. Although the governor's manor was extremely powerful, they couldn't control the mouths of others. Could it be that the governor's manor could stop people from speaking? But even so, the governor's manor still didn't do anything. They did things their own way and basically didn't seriously investigate the matter of the Emperor Pavilion being targeted. This was because there was no way to investigate this matter. Commander Xiaoho already knew who did it. Furthermore, the other party had received a hint from him. How could they investigate? Could it be that he was the one being investigated? Naturally, Xiaoho could also find a scapegoat to give the Emperor Pavilion an explanation, allowing the Emperor Pavilion to reopen. This way, the curses would lessen and in the future, those people wouldn't dare to jump out to deal with the Emperor Pavilion. If not, wouldn't Xiaoho lose all his face? But even so, Xiaoho wasn't willing. The arrogant him wanted the Emperor Pavilion to scram. In fact, he even wanted Dtion's life. An initial stage immortal emperor, no matter how strong his formations and weaponsmithing abilities were, so what of it? As long as he wasn't strong enough, he could leave the governor's manor, and there would be ways to kill him. At that time, the other major powers would definitely be able to use him, and they would naturally act to deal with him. Time flowed by day after day. Many people were silently thinking that this time around, the Emperor Pavilion was truly finished. The governor's manor was determined to kill them. Seems like Grandmaster D must have offended Governor Xiaoho. If not, such a thing wouldn't have happened. 2 months later, although the Emperor Pavilion closed its trading and auction market, it wouldn't truly close its doors. At this moment, a female immortal emperor came to the Emperor Pavilion to pay her respects. Emo Junyi received her. This female immortal emperor had an extraordinary demeanor. Her eyes were spirited and she exuded the aura of a ruler. She then asked, "Is Grandmaster D not around?" Recently, the Pavilion Master has been worrying about the matters of the Emperor Pavilion, and is currently in seclusion contemplating. Mo Junyi smiled and replied, "I wish to invite Grandmaster D to forge a divine weapon for me. Can you recommend me?" The female immortal emperor spoke to Mo Junyi. Mo Junyi hesitated for a moment before saying, "I'll go and inform the Pavilion Master and see if he's busy." "All right." The female immortal emperor nodded. After that, Mo Junyi left. After Di Tian received the news, his immortal sense permeated the area. After that, his eyes flashed with a strange light as he smiled at Mo Junyi. "Invite her to my place." Mo Junyi initially thought that Di Tian would reject. A look of bewilderment appeared on her face, but she still nodded her head. An instant later, she brought that female immortal emperor to the courtyard where Di Tian stayed. "Grandmaster D." The female immortal emperor nodded her head slightly when she saw Di Tian. She didn't show any signs of respect and merely calmly greeted him. "I heard that you want to forge a weapon. I wonder what grade of weapon you want to forge?" Di Tian asked. "Grandmaster D is proficient in sealing-type Emperor-ranked weapons. In that case, I will choose a mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapon. I'm fine with anything else." The female immortal emperor replied, "I have a few mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapons here. You can choose one yourself." Di Tian waved his hand and took out a few well-forged weapons. The eyes of the female immortal emperor flashed as she stared at the row of weapons. She silently mused that the rumors weren't false after all. This Di Tian's weaponsmithing abilities simply surpassed her imagination. Forging weapons seemed to be very simple for him, able to forge high-grade Emperor-ranked weapons every month. It was like as long as he willed it, he would be able to forge many divine weapons. The female immortal emperor chose a sword-shaped weapon and asked, "What's the price of this weapon?" 500 high-grade Emperor stones, Di Tian replied. "As expected of Grandmaster D, your mid-grade Emperor-ranked weapons are all priced at high-grade Emperor stones." "Awesome." The female immortal emperor laughed. With a wave of her hand, she took out 500 high-grade Emperor stones and passed them to Di Tian. Di Tian bitterly smiled and shook his head. "The Emperor Pavilion is going to close soon. In the future, I can only rely on forging divine weapons to exchange for cultivation resources. Speaking of which, I'm really curious. Right now, the commotion in Lifefire City is already spreading like wildfire. Grandmaster D, how did you offend Governor Xiaohou exactly? Is there really no way to turn things around?" The female immortal emperor laughed. "If I had the slightest chance to turn things around, I wouldn't have temporarily closed the Emperor Pavilion. In truth, the Emperor Pavilion is truly finished now." Di Tian bitterly smiled as he shook his head. "I didn't merely offend Governor Xiaohou. What do you mean by that?" the female immortal emperor asked. "Forget it, it's fine if you don't want to say it. Don't invite trouble." Di Tian waved his hands. "Grandmaster D, I'm really curious. I hope that Grandmaster D can tell me. I guarantee that I won't leak this out." The female immortal emperor spoke. "Since I'm about to leave, there's no harm in telling you. The person I offended is the Lifefire Empyrean. How would I still have any chance?" Di Tian's eyes flickered with loneliness. The Lifefire Empyrean has always been staying in the Lifefire Palace. It's very rare for outsiders to come into contact with him. "Grandmaster D, how did you offend the Lifefire Empyrean?" The female immortal emperor grew even more curious as she continued to ask. "An ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime. The Lifefire Empyrean felt that since I'm proficient in weaponsmithing, I should be used by him. Hence, he sent Governor Xiaohou here to threaten me, wanting me to join the governor's manor and become a weaponsmith under him. In the future, I'll specialize in weaponsmithing for Governor Xiaohou and the Lifefire Empyrean. If I refuse, my Emperor Pavilion can forget about continuing to operate here. Although I, D, am untalented, I have my own pride. How can I be threatened? I rejected Governor Xiaohou and offended the Lifefire Empyrean. Hence, you can see the consequences. Tian sighed, feeling even more desolate. What sort of character is the Livefire Empyrean? Although you are a weaponsmithing grandmaster, do you think he would bother with you? Maybe Grandmaster D has misunderstood. The female immortal emperor frowned. A hint of arrogance could be seen in the center of her brows, adding to her beauty. Tian stared at her appearance, silently musing that as expected of the Livefire Empyrean's personal attendant. Her demeanor was extraordinary, and the Livefire Empyrean's judgment wasn't bad. He was actually able to groom such a beautiful immortal emperor. So it turned out that this female was none other than one of the two serving girls by the Livefire Empyrean's side. Qin Wentian had seen her many times before. How could he not recognize her? Naturally, he still pretended that he didn't know. He sighed. I initially thought so as well, thinking that given the Livefire Empyrean's character, he wouldn't bother with a minor character like me. But you have also seen the truth. If it wasn't for the Livefire Empyrean's instructions, how would Governor Xiahou dare to be so audacious, disregarding such a scandal and wanting to kill me? I have no grudge with Governor Xiahou. The human heart is unfathomable. Tian still doesn't know what will happen in the future. It's best for you not to make wild guesses and slander the Livefire Empyrean. The female immortal emperor exuded a faint arrogance. Tian's eyes flashed as he stared at her. Who are you exactly? Grandmaster D, you're on your own now. Farewell. The female immortal emperor turned and directly soared into the air, departing the area. Mo Jinyi's beautiful eyes flashed, feeling somewhat unhappy with her attitude. She wanted to say something, but Tian sent a voice transmission to stop her, causing her to feel extremely puzzled. This female immortal emperor is so arrogant. Mo Jinyi calmly spoke. How can the Livefire Empyrean's woman not be arrogant? Tian laughed. Mo Jinyi's beautiful eyes instantly froze as she stared at Tian in astonishment. It was actually the Livefire Empyrean's woman who paid a visit in secret. Purchasing the divine weapon was merely something she did in passing. As for Tian, he intentionally said those words to her. However, Mo Jinyi was even more curious. This female immortal emperor was the Livefire Empyrean's woman, yet she came out to handle some matters. Clearly, she wasn't the main wife and would rarely leave the Livefire Empyrean's side. There shouldn't be many people who knew of her, or she wouldn't have come here so openly. How did Tian get to know her? Mo Jinyi was also somewhat curious about Tian's true identity. After the Livefire Empyrean's serving girl left the Emperor Pavilion, she directly sped towards the governor's manor. Governor Xiahou naturally personally came to welcome her. He asked with some bewilderment, Fairy Purple Moon, why are you so free to come to the governor's manor? Why, can't I come? The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor's eyes flashed with coldness as she spoke to Xiahou. That's not my intention. It's just that Fairy Purple Moon often follows the Livefire Empyrean by his side. Hence I feel a little puzzled. Xiahou shook his head. Quickly invite her in. Although he, Xiahou, was a governor, what sort of character was the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor? She was the Livefire Empyrean's woman. As a subordinate of Xiahou, although his authority was great, how could he dare to be disrespectful to the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor? Wouldn't that be smacking the Livefire Empyrean's face? No need, I'll leave after asking a few questions. The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor's expression was calm. Are you the one who interfered in the matters of the Emperor Pavilion? Xiahou's eyes flashed. He didn't understand what the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor meant by this. Why would such a matter alarm the Livefire Empyrean? Xiahou is fearful. Does the Livefire Empyrean have any instructions for me? Xiahou asked. The Livefire Empyrean didn't give any instructions, but you actually used his name to do what you want. The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor coldly snorted. Xiahou hurriedly bowed. Xiahou doesn't dare. You really don't dare? The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor stared at Xiahou as she coldly asked. I'm asking you now, you better answer truthfully, or you will have to bear the consequences. Firstly, did you participate in the matters of the Emperor Pavilion? Xiahou's back was instantly drenched in cold sweat. He didn't really care about the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor, but her words could very well represent the Livefire Empyrean. He couldn't help but to be cautious and replied, I received the Livefire Empyrean's orders to invite DT on. That fellow didn't give face to the Livefire Empyrean, just because of his status as a weaponsmith grandmaster. He was simply too brazen. I didn't interfere in this matter and merely closed one eye, wanting to teach DT on a lesson. Let me ask you one more time. When you recruited DT on, did you follow the Livefire Empyrean's instructions and told him that if he agreed, the Livefire Empyrean would be willing to give him a position equal to a governor? You better answer me truthfully. The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor's voice was filled with imposingness. Although her cultivation base was inferior to Xiaoho, she had stayed in the Livefire Palace for a long time, and was by the Livefire Empyrean's side. Her aura was naturally extraordinary. She wasn't a fool and wouldn't believe everything just because of a few sentences Ditian said. Hence she came to ask Xiaoho. No matter what Xiaoho said to Ditian, as long as she understood the crux of it, she would be able to determine the root of the problem. And Xiaoho's promise was the crux of the matter. Or could it be that you only want Ditian to be your subordinate? The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor continued asking when she saw Xiaoho not replying. Xiaoho's expression changed. At this instant, the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor finally understood what was going on. Seems like this Xiaoho was used to being lofty and lofty. As expected, he dared to feign obedience in public but oppose in private. Palace Lord, please forgive me. Xiaoho only wholeheartedly works for the Livefire Empyrean. I wanted to recruit him to be my subordinate first and nurture him well, allowing him to do his best to forge weapons for the Livefire Palace. Xiaoho bowed, feeling some trepidation in his heart. What a good governor Xiaoho. The Purple Moon Immortal Emperor coldly spoke. You can handle this matter yourself. The Livefire Empyrean doesn't want to hear any gossip. After speaking, the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor flicked her sleeves and left. Governor Xiaoho's expression was extremely ugly to behold as cold sweat appeared on his back. Chapter 1591. The matter of the Emperor Pavilion continued to ferment, spreading unceasingly. Now that the 3 months deadline was approaching, the Emperor Pavilion might very well move away from Livefire City. Many people were extremely unhappy. The strength of a city depended on whether there was an endless supply of fresh blood. If everyone followed Governor Xiaoho's example, who would dare to establish a power in Livefire City in the future? In addition, Grandmaster D's capabilities were clear to everyone. Many people were still thinking of auctioning off the treasures Grandmaster D personally forged. But now, Grandmaster D was actually forced away by Governor Xiaoho. This was naturally something many people weren't willing to see. Hence, the rumors spread even more ferociously. However, everything seemed to be irreversible. The 3 months deadline was approaching and the Emperor Pavilion most probably wouldn't be able to turn the tables. The governor's manor's authority was too great. It was basically impossible to affect them with just public opinion. The arrogant Governor Xiaoho didn't care. In this world where cultivation reigned supreme, as long as you were strong enough, there was no need to care about the opinions of others or the curses of the outside world. He, Xiaoho, was the king of this region. If Xiaoho wanted the Emperor Pavilion to disappear, the Emperor Pavilion would naturally disappear. Many people who were acquainted with Ditian even came to the Emperor Pavilion to console him. There were also some major powers who invited Ditian to be a guest elder. Even if the Emperor Pavilion that he founded couldn't continue to exist, a Grandmaster weaponsmith like Ditian was still extremely popular. But at this moment, the governor's manor acted. Using iron-blooded methods, they directly captured a group of people. After that, they announced to the central city regions that they had already captured all the people who caused trouble for the Emperor Pavilion, and sent them to jail, telling the Emperor Pavilion to open its doors to the outside world. There was no need to worry about people causing trouble. When the governor's manor released this news, countless people in the central city regions were stunned. This sudden reversal of the situation caused them to have no idea what was going on. Did the governor's manor compromise? Amidst all the curses and curses, the governor's manor actually captured the mastermind, allowing the Emperor Pavilion to open its doors to the outside world. What was going on exactly? Also, the governor's manor was extremely secretive about this matter. They didn't tell anyone who the mastermind was. This point caused many people to speculate. Seems like the waters behind this were extremely deep. But at least, this matter was temporarily resolved. The time limit of 3 months was up and the Emperor Pavilion reconvened. Because of the scandal caused by a single announcement, Grandmaster D took out 3 Emperor-ranked weapons to be auctioned. This caused the Emperor Pavilion to be filled to the brim with people today. It was unknown how many people came to the Emperor Pavilion. The number was 10 times more compared to when the Emperor Pavilion was at its peak. Those who came to the Emperor Pavilion for trading were all extremely happy. The Grand Supervisor of the Emperor Pavilion, Mo Fei and Mo Junyi, were extremely busy. The entire Emperor Pavilion was bustling with activity, causing many people to laugh. So it turned out that the governor's manor was intentionally helping the Emperor Pavilion. If Governor Xiahou heard this, it was unknown if he would cough out blood or not. Xiahou's mood wasn't too good. Compared to the flourishing atmosphere of the Emperor Pavilion, the Great Hall of the governor's manor was extremely quiet. Other than Governor Xiahou, only the clan leaders of the Yan clan, Han clan and Wei clan were here. Governor Xiahou, didn't you say that Di Tian has offended the Lifefire Empyrean? Why are you still capturing our people? The Han clan leader asked, his tone filled with unhappiness. Back then, all of them had sent gifts to Xiahou, and this matter was something that Xiahou had tacitly agreed to. Now, Xiahou suddenly wanted to capture several of their immortal emperors? What did this mean? That's right, Governor Xiahou. Back then it was you who tacitly agreed to this. Aren't you going a little overboard by doing this today? The people from the Wei clan were also extremely unhappy. They came here to demand their people back. But Xiahou actually wasn't prepared to hand them over. Hence their tone naturally changed. Although Xiahou was a governor and had great authority, they were all aristocratic clans with deep roots. They wouldn't allow Xiahou to bully them as he wished. One must know that in the northern city regions, there was a Jialong clan. Even the Lifefire Empyrean couldn't do anything to them, let alone a mere governor. Although they were far from being as powerful as the Jialong clan, they were still a powerful aristocratic clan. If they joined forces, Xiahou wouldn't have an easy time. When did this governor agree to anything? Xiahou's expression turned black. Being questioned like this, his eyes were extremely cold as he swept his gaze over to the 3 clan leaders. The 3 clan heads seemed to have sensed Commander Xiahou's anger. Their eyes flashed, and when they heard Xiahou's words, they were so angry that they almost vomited blood. They remembered that Xiahou had been talking nonsense to them all this time. And indeed, he didn't say a single word clearly. It was only when they left that the deputy commander gave them a hint. But it wasn't Xiahou who said it, and it was a hint. The tone of the 3 clan leaders is so overbearing. If this seat doesn't release our people today, are you going to act against me? Xiahou's expression turned heavy. Lord Governor, you misunderstood. We are only anxious. The Han clan leader started for a moment before his tone eased a little. Governor Xiahou, the people you captured are all immortal emperors. We naturally hope that they will be safe and sound, but we have no intentions of forcing you. The Wei clan leader spoke. Humph, Xiahou coldly snorted. Since you guys want an answer so much, this seat will tell you. Because this matter caused such a commotion, the Lifefire Empyrean side is somewhat unhappy and wanted me to shut everyone's mouths. I can only do this. I will naturally think of a way to capture your people, but if you guys force me, I might have to investigate all the way to the end. The Yan clan leader started. This was clearly a threat. The 3 clan leaders felt somewhat awkward, but they still admitted defeat. Lord Governor, there's no need to be anxious. We naturally know that Lord Governor will settle this matter. Since this is the case, we will hand this matter over to Governor Xiahou to handle. Xiahou didn't say anything. After that, the 3 clan leaders bid their farewell and departed. After they exited the governor's manor, their expressions instantly turned extremely heavy. Similarly, Xiahou, who was in the governor's manor, his eyes flashed with coldness, feeling extremely unhappy. How did Di Tian manage to turn the tables exactly? Why did the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor come down to investigate this matter? Was it really because of public opinion? Also, why did the Purple Moon Immortal Emperor's questions directly hit the crux of the matter? She asked him if he had followed the Livefire Empyrean's words and promised Dition a position equivalent to a governor. This matter definitely wouldn't happen for no reason. After the Emperor Pavilion reopened, it grew more and more prosperous. It was much more popular compared to before, like it had experienced a rebirth. The three aristocratic clans no longer dared to act recklessly. Right now, they were all at the heart of the storm, and the governor's manor kept delaying the release of the captives. How would they dare to cause trouble again? Only until many days later, Governor Xiaoho made a trip to the Livefire Palace to scout the situation, and after he returned, he understood that the Livefire Empyrean wouldn't care about this matter anymore. Only then did he secretly release the captives. This matter didn't attract the attention of anyone. The Emperor Pavilion also didn't publicize this matter, as though it had already forgotten about it. The Emperor Pavilion naturally understood that at this moment, it was best for them to quietly expand their strength. In addition, after this matter, the Emperor Pavilion expanded once again, recruiting guest elders and even sparing no expense. Dition and Mo Fei both believed that as long as they continued to expand, the people they nurtured would definitely be rewarded. To Dition, it didn't matter even if he temporarily earned less. What he pursued wasn't just short-term benefits. Hence, Dition once again came to the southern governor's manor to pay a visit to Beauty Xiao. This time around, it was naturally to express his thanks. He didn't believe that the Livefire Empyrean's woman would only appear in his Emperor Pavilion because of the rumors of the outside world. Clearly, Beauty Xiao had helped him in the shadows. Dition was brought to an elegant room. A moment later, an incomparably beautiful figure walked over. It was none other than the southern governor, Beauty Xiao. At this moment, she was only clad in a bathrobe. The bathrobe wrapped around her body, concealing her figure that would cause one's imagination to run wild. She was barefooted, her beautiful legs were completely exposed to Dition. Clearly she had just finished bathing. Beauty Xiao, who had just finished bathing, still exuded a faint fragrance. Her wet hair cascaded down her shoulders, extremely alluring. Dition sweated. Should I leave first? You've already seen me. What's the point of leaving? Beauty Xiao's beautiful eyes giggled as she stared at Dition. Why? Has the matter with the Emperor Pavilion been resolved? I specially came here to thank you. Dition nodded. Oh, how do you want to thank me? Why don't you help me change? Beauty Xiao laughed. Dition replied. Beauty Xiao, could it be that you don't know that doing this will cause people to make mistakes? Oh, in that case, I really want to see how you will make mistakes. Beauty Xiao's smile grew even more charming. As long as Beauty Xiao doesn't mind, I will definitely profit. Dition slowly walked up. Beauty Xiao smiled. I'll say it again. Take off your mask first and let me take a look. If not, you will see me naked, but I don't even know what you look like. Wouldn't that be too disadvantageous? In that case, forget it. Dition shook his head. Beauty, this time around, the Emperor Pavilion's crisis has been resolved. Many thanks. In the future, if you need me to do anything, just directly send a message to me. This is my messaging crystal. Beauty Xiao smiled. After that, she sent a strand of her immortal sense into it as well as her own messaging crystal, exchanging strands of immortal sense with each other. I'll bid my farewell first. If I keep looking at you like this, I might make a mistake. Dition laughed. After that, he turned and left, holding the messaging crystal in his hands. The smile on Beauty Xiao's face grew even more charming. She has never met such an interesting person before. What does this fellow look like exactly? Qin Wentian of the northern city regions, Dition of the central regions. These two people both have the word Tian in their names. How interesting. Before this, I was still very interested in Qin Wentian, but now, this fellow is so low profile that it's terrifying. On the other hand, an interesting person like Dition actually appeared in Xiaoho's territory. Seems like things are going to get lively in Livefire City. Beauty Xiao mumbled to herself, subconsciously comparing Qin Wentian and Di Tian. Di Tian was famous for his combat prowess. He killed his way into the emperor palace of the Jialan monarch, and could even fight against peak-stage immortal emperors. As for Di Tian, he was famous for his formations and weaponsmithing. He could even forge high-grade emperor-ranked weapons. Out of these two, who would be more interesting? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.